Good. All right. So we're almost back live, and we'll be chiming with you guys, and then I'll continue the talk. Remember, Ian from Brooklyn. Thank you, sir. As always, you guys are just amazing, and your support overall. We're on. We're on. We're live. Okay, good. I think we're back live now. I
Sorry about
appreciate it.
that. We dropped. We had to go all the way out and back in on both the camera and the tablet.
Yes, yes. So we are back here. Let's see. I'm trying to see if it's joining us live, but I don't see it. Let me see here. There we go. Let's get it back going. There we go. There we go. Okay, now we're back. Now we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Appreciate you all. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's still kind of like I don't know what the hell's going on. Anyway, you guys tell me on the text there. Can you see everything live now? Can you hear it? Are we all good? Do we got it going on now? Are we good? Tell me if we're set here on the on YouTube. Let me see here. Let me try to let me do it this way and update the YouTube channel, and then let's see if we can do it this way and get it going. All right, so no, it's still kind of. Oh, we're good. Okay. All right, good. All right, I love it. All right, so what we wanted to do is we added the super chat, so you'll know, and thank you to all out there. Just to take a little moment here to talk a little bit about the super chat, and I thank all of you out there. One of the things that Bill and I want to do with this show is obviously, we're going to have general sports talk like always. We're going to talk about all kinds of things going on in sports, but it'll be centralized around the Dolphins and the Heat and the Canes and the Marlins and the Panthers and Inter Miami, and I don't even know if I forgot anything else, FIU, FAU, you name it, him or she, Miami Beach FC, Miami FC, all the soccer teams locally, everybody, okay? This is the kind of show that it's about you guys. And you guys know how I am, that I like to connect with people and with all of you out there. And so that's why when you guys talk to me about the Super Chat, one of the things that we want to do with this show is we want to be at the MetLife Takeover. We want to go to the Raiders game. We want to go on the road and cover a lot of Dolphin events, right? Draft. I got to tell you something. One of the things that I would like for me and Bill down the line, maybe start covering some of the Heat summer league events and things like that. I want our show to be the ultimate sports show that covers, not just the Dolphins, but all the teams locally. And so, obviously, you need sponsors, you need a lot of subscribers, you need a lot of support, you need a lot of downloads, you need people to help you out. You guys are helping us out immensely by watching every single day. You're also helping us out also by, what's it called? By, downloading the show. All of these things, you guys have set us up in a big time way. And that helps out. And then the super chat is just another way to help us out so we can generate revenue. We're also going to have, shirts and hats and things like that to help generate revenue. Why? Because it's going to take money for us. And let me tell you something. You guys know I like to go to the Combine, the East West, and the Senior Bowl. If we start generating revenue, I'm going to go to all the postseason bowl games. Like, we will stay on the road for a month. I don't care. And I'll give you guys the best freaking draft coverage on the planet. You know what I mean? But that's kind of what we want to do. We want to make this, because look, you know that the local stations are too cheap. They don't do anything. I know, because I'm the guy that had to cover this stuff out of my own pocket. Last couple of years, you think Intercom paid for me to go on the road, or CBS? Those cheap bastards didn't pay anything. I had to pay it out of my pocket to go to the Senior Bowl and the Combine and the East-West. Seriously. All that had to come out of my pocket. And this year we were able to do it because we had the sponsors going on with us, you know what I mean? So that really helped us out. and we couldn't go to the combine. Well, that was a whole health issue, timing, all kinds of other things that we were planning. But now, obviously, we had a little bit of roadblock because we all have a roadblock right now with COVID-19. So when you guys gave me the idea of Super Chat, I said, well, this is a way for us to, generate that revenue. And so we could go cover these events like we're supposed to cover these events. Remember how sports radio used to be? Well, that's what we want to do now. That's what we're going to do now. We're going to do things the way sports radio was meant to be. Covering the home games, covering the road, covering the draft, covering all this stuff, man. Okay? I had to tear it down and bring it back up again, so I don't know if I missed anything here because the chat board got shortened now. So I have no idea if I have no idea if anything came in, especially on the Super Chat side.
We're still going.
Yeah, no, I was talking about something because on the chat board it reset when I opened a new window, so it erased all the text from before. So I don't know if anything else had come in. That's all. So I just want to say, so that's the reason why we're doing the Super Chat also, because that's going to help us grow the show, obviously. So all of you out there, any of you out there, I appreciate all of you for helping us. And look, this is a way for you and I to create something that we don't have to deal with the corporate bull crap. You know what I mean? All the corporate fluff that's out there. Hey, let me ask you something. Did Intercom have anybody on for the whole draft? No, right? Of course not. Did they send anybody to the East-West Shrine game or the Senior Bowl or the Combine? No, of course not. Are they going to send anybody to summer leagues? No, of course not. You know what I mean? That's where we come in. That's what I want to do with this show. This is the show that's going to cover South Florida sports the right way. And we're going to hang out with the Dolphin clubs in Vegas, in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, in New York, wherever we go on the road, we're going to hang out with all those Dolphin clubs because that's what this should be about, man. This show should be about our teams, our fans, right? Corporate radio, it's all about them. It's all about them. They don't take care of the sponsors. They don't take care of their hosts. They don't take care of the listeners. They don't give a rat's ass about anything, dude. All they want to do is cash the check and move on. Give you a smile and move on, but not because they really care about anything. And as you see, I mean, look at the local station. They don't run anything locally. Everything's run through national. Promotions and everything. So do you think in their national office they know exactly what's going on in every city and how to handle every different city and how different culturally we are sometimes from one point to another in this country? Of course not. So that's really what this is all about. That's my vision for this show is I know the people that are going to watch and listen and follow, they're going to have a ton of passion, just like me. And that's kind of what it's all about. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. So there you go. Sean says, nobody talking about Brandon Jones. Great pick. He's going to be a tackling machine. Well, we gave you some info last over the weekend on Brandon Jones. Yeah, we like the pick too. Brown would make an immediate impact IMO and isn't health-wise. It also solidifies our trenches, and our D side would have given us greater strength with our other picks and O-line and running back. I give Greer a B. Hank Goldberg's left nut is chiming in, and he says, what the F did Bill do now? Bill did nothing. It was just it went down. Why are you blaming Bill for the internet, bro? You don't blame Bill for the internet. Jose Baños says, how do I access Super Chat, Big O? Isn't it an app? I need to download it, or I don't know how you access it. I have no idea. Can somebody tell Jose Baños how to access it? I thought you just see it automatically. Like, oh, yeah, there's like a little $sign on the bottom right corner by the chat, I think. That's where it's at. That's it. On the bottom right corner, you see a $sign. I think that's the Super Chat, if I'm correct. That's where you go into Super Chat. Let's see what else. Big O. When are the Dolphins going to bring back the old logo? I think it'll be in a couple years because they had to have this sorry ass logo for a certain amount of time, and then they've got to file to replace the sorry ass logo, and then eventually they'll bring back the real logo. But yeah, I think that's how it works out. Maybe in another couple of years we'll see it. Hey, listen, we'll have it just in time for Tua and the Super Bowl win, and we'll be wearing the old logo at that time.
The uniforms, the throwback new style uniforms, they need to keep those.
Right.
That is absolutely perfect.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Big O, 46 transactions last year, 24 off the street, 13 started Sunday, and was productive. 50% of the talent the coaching got in that 5-1 stretch and beat the Pats. Imagine this draft. I know. But you know what it is, Sharif? You and I have, we have confidence. We feel good about him. We have to win everybody else over, and that's Chris Grier and Brian Flores' job, to win everybody else over. You know what I mean? And so there you go. Dominic says, I live in Austin and have been a handful of Longhorn games with my manager, who is a huge UT alum. He broke down Brandon Jones for me. I think we got a steal. He said defensive coaching held him. That happens, my friend. Big O, in a virus year, will veteran skill players be a good thing plus implementing chain? You mean Chan Gailey's system there. Yeah, look, this is going to be a challenge all the way around for the Dolphins, no matter what. It is. It's going to be a major challenge for the Dolphins, however you slice it. And the adjustment on a – now, here's where I talked about this earlier with a lot of people. And here's where the adjustment on a short offseason is a plus for the Dolphins, okay? Who last year kept bringing in players and sifting them out week in and week out? The Dolphins, right? Who kept taking people off of other people's practice squads and starting them that same week? The Dolphins.
That was our secondary.
Right. Who had the balls to try all kinds of funky-ass defensive formations with a whole bunch of players that he did not have very long? Brian Flores and the Dolphins. And yet, they were one of the least penalized teams in the NFL. And yet, they went 5-4 down the stretch. In fact, they won 5 games. And they beat the Patriots in Week 17. So, if there's a coaching staff that is perfectly suited for this crazy-ass offseason and to prepare players, it's this coaching staff. It's that coach. It's that GM. Because combined, those two kept finding people and plugging them in and all. And we're like, they just signed this guy and they're starting him 3 days late. What the hell is this? And wait a minute, they won the game. Huh? You know what I'm saying? So that's another reason why I am just incredibly confident about the Dolphins. Okay? I mean, just a lot of this stuff makes a ton of sense, man.
From a coaching standpoint, you look at it, you wipe away the first 2 games. After that, somewhere around halftime, we played even with the teams. So probably about the 6th, 7th week, and that's when we started seeing wins. But from that 3rd game on, you spot them the first 15, 20 minutes, our coaching staff making adjustments and whatnot.
Yep.
It was played even with weaker, know-nothing talent.
Yep.
It's really impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's extremely impressive. That's why I tell you that, this is a team that they get it, man. They know what the hell they're doing. By the way, Chris Perkins will join us at the top of the hour. So we'll have the Perk Man to talk a little Dolphins. We'll get his thoughts on what went on with the Miami Dolphins and get his thoughts on some of these players. I have some breakdown on some of these guys that they signed in street free agency also. And if you didn't catch us over the weekend, we had a lot of draft talk because we were on for the whole draft, baby.
We do have Travis at 1 o'clock.
We do? Oh,
yes, sir.
Okay, good. So Travis Reier is going to join us from Bama Online to talk a little Tua at 1 o'clock. So we've got Perk at noon, Travis at 1, so we're set with that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about that I thought was kind of funny in all of this, and the question is, did it really happen? Right? And Dandy Photography, thank you, sir. Thank you. He says, do you think we make a move for a tight end and who? I don't think they make a move for the tight end right now at all. I don't. I think they're kind of set at their tight end right now. They couldn't solve everything. But let me get into my point here that, a lot of people were crediting the Dolphins for smoke screens. And, on Thursday, I deciphered that mofo right down to the bone. And I told you, it's Tua automatically. They're taking him. Everything indicated, especially Marino. Marino gave it completely away by, saying that he and Herbert are anything alike, which is
in
ridiculous.
hindsight. I wish I would have been a line at Vegas and stuff. We should have bet, man, because you.
Oh, we would have been in Vegas.
You called it perfect.
We would have been in Vegas.
No. I'm talking about.
No, but I'm saying
putting money.
We would have been in Vegas,
of course, but
and we could have.
I'm talking about what actually happened.
Would have made back my Pearl Jam money
that day while we're sitting at Toyota.
I would have got
Hollywood,
a Pearl Jam for free.
And you called it.
I would have bet the money I bet on I used on the concert tickets and got it for free, and then used that money to buy some other concert tickets. All right. Anyway, so we got this right. So what was I got to throw this out there just to have a little fun with this. Did the Dolphins really use smoke screens? You know what I mean? Jose Banos. Damn, dude. That's some strong stuff. Appreciate you, Jose Banos. Damn. That is strong. So here's what you do. So did Greer actually throw out any smoke screens? Tell me. Because here's what I got to tell you. We live in a world of fake news. People are putting out crap all the time. Right? Maybe Chris Greer and Brian Flores never put out any smoke screens. Maybe the most they ever did was at the combine that they didn't have that embracing type interview and that Ross says he was kind of injury prone. That's it. But everything else, trading up, this and that, they were all lies. Maybe Greer and Flores said, we're going to be quiet. We're not going to say a damn thing to anybody. And we'll just let the media hang themselves. Because that's what they do when they say we're tanking. Because the media hangs themselves when they say they're tanking. And a bunch of media members with some character and some guts finally looked at the camera or the mic or print and said, hey, by the way, I was wrong on the Dolphins. They weren't tanking. Remember when Bridge came on, Little Bridge came on? He goes, dude, and go listen to him. He goes, and you on my show told us and straightened us out that they weren't tanking. And I was on, and they were all football guys, the guys that I was talking to, because the guys on the Brawl Network are all ex-football players. Okay, so maybe Chris Greer and Brian Flores just said, let's not talk. The media will do more than enough. They'll say everybody on the Dolphins wants off. Everybody on the Dolphins wants to get traded. Everybody on the Dolphins has quit. Everybody on the Dolphins, okay? All right? They're tanking. Everything was fake news. Everything was lies last year because they all made that crap up. So they made crap up that Miami's trying to move up from 5 to 3 to trade for a tackle. Do you know how stupid that sounds? Seriously. Nico Jones. Holy crap. Dude, that's really kind, bro. Nico just donated $50, man.
Wow.
Holy crap. Nico, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Nico.
Damn, Nico.
You're awesome, brother.
Appreciate you, man. I mean, you go all the time to Canesware to visit us, man. Thank you, Nico.
Even
so
showed
damn
up,
much.
Came by. You were busy, but the Marlins.
Yeah.
The Marlins Fanfare
Oh,
Day.
at FanFest, yes.
Yeah, man, with the fam, actually.
Yeah, damn,
The boys and his wife.
I missed that, man. That was so fun, man. I wish we had the baseball season. Sean Conley, thank you, sir. Appreciate you, man. So maybe Chris Greer just let the media hang themselves. I was thinking about that. Maybe they really didn't send out any smoke screens. All they had to do was allow the media to invent shit up. Okay?
They did a lot of that.
Because all last year we had to squash all that crap. No, they're not tanking. Let me explain to you football. They're trying to build through youth. Okay? Let me explain that to you. All right? It's build through youth. No, they're tanking. They're trying to win Tua. They're trying to get the number one pick. And even though the number one pick got injured and it wasn't the number one pick anyway, it ended up being Joe Burrow. I'm just saying, maybe there was no smoke screens, because in today's media, you don't need smoke screens. You got enough people throwing crap out there that's not even true. And I'm sure that Chris Greer and Brian Flores sat there and said, holy crap, are you kidding me?
Would you say the ratio of fake to real is like at least 1 to 4, 1 to 5?
No, dude, it's
worse.
It's
1 to 10.
98%. No. Yeah.
That's a horrible ratio.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I was trying to be kind and
no. I work in the media for 30 years, bro.
Right.
You see me, you work with me every day.
Yep.
Do I just throw stuff out for throwing it out, or when I throw it out, it's because
you give the heads up. Possible scenarios.
Now you see the people that give me info. It's not agents or not. It's actually league people.
Right.
I don't really lean on agents ever, pretty much, because agents have an agenda.
Just a little bit.
No, and I tell the agent he's got an agenda. That's the best part. To their face, I tell them they got the agenda. That's the best part. That's why most agents know that I'm not going to go out and go, PR for your player just so you can give me some information on another player. Not doing that. Not doing that. Brendan Grogan, thank you, sir. Appreciate you all for supporting the program, man. We're going to give you guys the best coverage that we can every single day, man. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. But I feel like Chris Greer really didn't have to BS anything. He didn't have, you know what? To this day now, from here on out, here's the story, and I'm sticking to it. Chris Greer at no point served up BS to anybody. Never sent the smoke screen out. Brian Flores, come on, dude. Look at Brian Flores. Holy crap, Kelvin. Listen, look at Brian Flores. Does Brian Flores look to you like the kind of guy that is going to be dealing with smoke screens and sending BS out? That's bullcrap, dude. There's no way. Kelvin Smith, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. He puts, my guy, thank you for everything. Huge fan and wish we could have celebrated at Tommy Rockers in Vegas. Thank you for everything. Kelvin, I appreciate it. Kelvin Smith just donated $99.99. I guess he loves Toto.
Wow, brother.
99. Woo! Wow. I've been waiting for you. Oh, 99.
You inspired O to the point of singing.
A little Toto. Yeah. Thank you, Kelvin. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, brother.
So I bet you that he did not at all whatsoever send one smoke screen. So whenever anybody tells you that Chris Greer and Brian, look at the dudes. Just look at those men. Do they look like they play that stupid-ass game of smoke screens? What I love about our guys now is these are football guys. They're not in the play. Dude, they're not here to PR. They're not here to do the Rex Ryan and sell himself. They're not here to do any of that stuff. They're blue-collar guys or aqua-colored guys that are here to play football, are here to coach football, are here to win. Their reputations are on the line. They take this serious. It's not a game to them. It's not buddy-buddy with the media, all that. The media doesn't get anything from these guys. So the media has to invent everything. And for a year now, we have over 10 examples of the media inventing shit all the time. Okay? That's a fact. John Rouse is in the house. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you for the love. Thank you. Damn, man. You guys are awesome, dude.
John always comes out.
He came through again here. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate all of you out there for supporting us in a big-time way, man. So thank you very, very much. This is going to help us create a better show. There's no doubt in my mind that this is going to help us create a much better show. It's going to allow us to do that. But I just want you to think about that, because I find it funny as hell, the smoke screen talk. Because it's kind of what I was doing on Thursday. When I sifted through all the BS, I told you, no, dude, this is Tua. You can tell they're doing Tua. And right now, when I started thinking about all this stuff and smoke screens, I go, there were no smoke screens. Brian Flores is not playing that game, dude. Really, seriously, does Brian Flores look like the guy that likes to really screw around a lot? I don't think so.
He looks like a guy that goes to a comedy club and maybe cracks a smirk. He
No,
doesn't even.
No, I think he
You
can
know?
have some. No, I think he's a compartmentalized type dude, because you saw him
So-
with his kids.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
when it's football, he's not clowning around
At all.
That's my point.
Right.
When he's in that building, when he's talking,
He wears
Dolphin,
different hats, and when he's wearing this
Exactly.
hat, that's the hat he's wearing. He
Right.
doesn't.
You saw him with the
waver.
kids.
Yeah.
You know, he was great with his kids, screwing around and all that stuff. So you could tell he has a lighter side to him, but it's the lighter side with the people he loves and the people he trusts. The media, he doesn't. He's not going to love the media.
He
He's
gets
not
that.
going to trust the media. He's not going to associate with the media. He's not going to do anything like that with the media. That's why all the media stuff was a bunch of BS. All of it. Oh, by the way, they're trying to trade up for Joe Burrow. They're trying to do this. Did you hear that he had the playbook for a couple of weeks? Yeah. Joe Burrow had the playbook for the Bengals for the last couple of weeks. Meanwhile, here's the media reporting, well, you know, they're trying to make a move. They're trying to make offers. Dude, the guy got the jersey early, got the playbook really early. He was drafted a long time ago. Meanwhile, we were telling you on this show, don't waste your time talking about Joe Burrow. He's not going anywhere. You don't understand Mike Brown. Did we not explain who Mike Brown is over and over and over and over again on this show? I think we told you, right?
I think we know Mike Brown better than we know Ross.
Yes. You know what I mean? It's too funny. Let's see. Brandon T says, we need to sit Tua this year and let Fitz and Rosen battle it out in camp. Not forget Rosen beat Fitz in camp last year. Just saying. Fitz started off really slow. You're right about that, Brandon T. I think it's still all Fitz all the way. It's up to Roseman. The light needs to go on for Rosen big time this offseason. Operation Theater says, how long has Big O been on YouTube? It's about 6 months, I want to say, that we've been doing this YouTube thing. About 6 months. We've been doing this for 8 now. And by the way, thank you all out there. We are headed for a record month of downloads. Okay? And by the way, we are passing that record today with still several days left in the month. So that tells you how much we're going to beat our current record of downloads in a month. And our YouTube, we have 1.4 million minutes viewed in the last 28 days. That's you guys. Okay? 1.4 million minutes viewed in the last 28 days. That's you. Okay? And this thing is only going to grow. Okay? Because you guys know it. You have the passion like I do. RC in the 305 says, if I had the money, I'd give you some. Stimulus only go, hey, listen, if you can help us, that's great. If you can't, just by listening, downloading, watching, and the day you're back on track, then support our sponsors. That's a great way of supporting us too. There's many ways to support us, man, okay? You don't have to give any money whatsoever. You guys know it. I appreciate every single one of you. RC in the 305 has been going back and forth with me for a long time on Twitter and all that, even before this show. So he knows how I am. That's not who I am. I'm not driven by that at all. I just want to grow this show. And I want us to dominate. I want us to have the best show possible, and the show that you guys can trust. That's not going to be full of a bunch of BS. George says, 250 in the house. Let's show our boy Orlando some love. Share, subscribe, support. Thank you. Yes, please subscribe. Please share. Please like while you're watching. Sharif says, thank you for, what is it? What is it? Thank you for liberating on my, elaborating. I got you, elaborating on my take, Big O. This is important for young Dolphin fans and old to realize. Yes, no doubt. Appreciate you. Cookie Vice says, wow, great numbers. The show is good and local radio sucks. It's not their fault. It's just that they're tied to that corporate umbrella. And the corporate umbrella is just, that's why I don't want to be a part of this.
Got to stop. 12 o'clock.
Yeah,
it's Perkin time.
By the way, we have done one straight hour of talk. You'll never get that on radio. Never.
You're 40 seconds short of a full hour.
Yeah, you'll never get it on radio. And thanks to the great people at Murias Dental. We love Eric Murias and family, dad and son. It's a family-operated business, folks. I'm telling you, call them if you're looking to get your teeth fixed. 305-821-0231, from cavities to implants to Invisalign, you name it, a crown, whatever you got, state-of-the-art equipment and class. From beginning to end, just great people, man. 305-821-0231. Go to MuriasDental.com. Chris Perkins from The Athletic. We talk a little Dolphins draft next.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with zero down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We're back.
This is the Big O Show.
All righty, yes, sir. Well, I told you we're going to have a little Chris Perkins on with us to talk a little NFL draft, talk about the Dolphins, talk about what they did. And, of course, you can follow him on Twitter at Chris Perk, like all Miami Dolphins should be doing, is following Chris Perkins. That is a law. And, of course, check out his work at The Athletic, which, by the way, Perk, if I'm correct, good afternoon, sir, but isn't The Athletic offering, like, a free subscription for like 90 days or something like that?
Yeah, we got a 90-day free trial period, man. So go in there and check it out. Check out what we do. Obviously we don't have live sports right now, but you will find stuff on your favorite team in whatever sport it is, whether it's hockey or baseball, basketball, football, college sports. So go in there and check us out.
You got it. There you go. So good stuff there. All right. So overall, what'd you think of the draft, man? What'd you like? What you didn't like? Tell us.
I gave the Dolphins a B minus on the draft overall. I liked what they did, and I think one of the central things to understand about this draft is it's really more about 2021 than it is about 2020. And what I mean by that is they took a lot of guys who this year needs to kind of be a developmental year for them, whether it's Tua or Austin Jackson or Robert Hunt or, the Lindley kid. And most of these guys are about a year away. I think Brandon Jones will be good. Noah, I'm just going to call him Iggy. You probably know how to pronounce his name because you're all over these draftees, Big O. But I'm just going to call him Iggy right now. I think Noah and Iggy, he's going to be slotted in there at the slot. That's a bad choice of words there. But he's probably going to need another year before he really develops also. That's what this draft is about. Robert Hunt, he'll probably need another year. I don't know. Maybe Brandon Jones is as close to a finished product as they get in the top 3 rounds, and I think even he's going to need some work. So that's what came across to me as what they were doing. The other thing, obviously, they were getting linemen, right? 11 draftees, 6 of them were linemen. In the 2 years of Greer and Flores, 17 draftees and 9 of them are linemen. So that's what they want to do. They want to reinforce these trenches. So I thought that was the thing that stood out to me. And then of course Tua, I like getting him at number 5. He didn't give up any assets, but the best player in your draft is also the biggest risk in your draft. Still, I liked it, B minus.
Yeah, but you know what? You have so many picks that even if you swing and miss on Tua because of injury, if you have a great draft outside of that, you'll survive it. Because I think everybody will kind of understand, like, okay, that was the risk. We all knew it. We all knew the kid could play, but if he got injured, well, okay, that's kind of what came with the territory. As long as the rest of your draft kicks ass, I think they'll be all right. I think people respect the fact that they keep taking shots at quarterbacks. Now, if Tua breaks down and the rest of the draft isn't good, that's when it really, kind of rears its ugly head because we all know the gamble that they're taking. The shock will be if Tua starts to play like, Tannehill did in the first couple of years, that kind of stuff. Then we would be like, well, wait a minute, he has no pocket presence. He can't hit a deep ball. He got, if we start seeing that from Tua, then we got to be nervous. But the injury part, I think that risk part, I think that's the understandable part of taking this chance.
That's understandable. And I will tell you a skeptical / pessimistic way to look at this draft, Big O, is that when you look at the Greer Flow draft from last year, now granted they only had 2 picks in the top 80, right? Because I think Dieter was number 78, but they're already trying to replace Dieter, your 3rd round pick from last year. So that means really all you got out of last year's draft right now is Christian Wilkins. They didn't have a 2nd round pick. Dieter was the 3rd round, Van Ginkel the 5th round. He showed you a couple of things, but he was out with injury. The 2 7th round picks, whatever. They're 7th round picks, but there is room to wonder about their drafting acumen. There is room to wonder about their judgment of offensive linemen. Really, what saved the rookies last year were the undrafted rookies, right? Led by Nick Needham and Preston Williams. So there is, when you look at Robert Hunt and Austin Jackson and look, Curtis Weaver and Jason Strowbridge, you can look and be, I'm not sure about these guys. So I don't think it's mostly about Tua, but I think the Tua thing to me would be the most understandable because you understood the risk on him coming in. These other guys, it would be like, well, why did you think they could play? So I think there's as much risk in the other parts of the class, beyond Tua, because there's still a little room to question these guys' draft acumen.
Yeah, no, and that's understandable. Look, I love the fact that if Dieter is not playing, they're not going to stick around with the pick and keep playing him and try to justify it. They're going to try to find your replacement right away. If Josh Rosen, hey, we traded for you. Nah, you're struggling. We're going to get Fitz back in there, bro. We're trying to win games. We're trying to put the best people out there. So there's good and bad to it because we've seen the people that can't draft but then stick to the players that failed. And you're like, why do you keep playing Jamar Fletcher? Why do you keep playing Eddie Moore? Why do you keep playing whatever, and failed picks? Now, I'm not ready to do that with Dieter because that's not fair after 1 year because everybody gave up on Gesicki in the first year and then the kid started to come around last year. So maybe now the light is starting to come on with the kid and he takes another step forward this year. So we do have to be patient here. But meanwhile, either you also get to develop depth here too. That's the other thing that I like because a lot of these guys may end up developing and all of a sudden you've got several offensive linemen that you can move in and out and you've got depth. That's what I loved about the corner pick because a lot, go get safety. No, man, it's all right to get the third corner because the third corner is going to play 65, 75% of the time. So go get the corner and just in case Jones or X get injured again, Noah maybe then can be the guy that goes to the outside and fills in. So now you've got three hopefully excellent corners and at the same time some depth just in case you lose something on the boundary. Same thing with the line. I love that they didn't just say, well, no, we'll develop Dieter this year. He'll get better. We'll count on that. No, they say, hell no. We're going to bring in more guys to compete at that position so we can either have great competition or we can find our starters and get rid of the guys that can't play.
Yeah, no, they're not settling. They're not settling, so that's a good thing. You just hate to see them trying to replace a third-round pick this quickly. Last year they also took Isaiah Prince, the tackle out of Ohio State, but he was a sixth-round pick. Right. If he doesn't work out, that's fine. Very few sixth-round picks work out. Third-rounder, you need to hit on that guy, especially an offensive lineman. So that's but it's not over for Dieter. Like you say, let's not count him out. He might rise to the challenge and emerge as a starting guard or whatever. So what's the name of Baumhauer's nephew that we had here, and then he blew up with the Jets and somebody else that he was a really good lineman, a good guard. What was the name of that guy now, man? Baumhauer's nephew. You know who I'm talking about? We had him here. No.
And he was young, and then he moved on, and then he grew up and actually started playing well. I forgot his name, but that happens. I mean, hell, you cut Billy Turner, and he's still he's now playing for people. It's like it's crazy, So sometimes with linemen, we have to be patient with some of these guys because it takes them a little while to figure it out sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, and I'll say this, Big O, and again, to me, this draft is more about 2021 than it is about 2020. So, I do have to point out in all fairness that, Austin Jackson or Robert Hunt or whoever might not be ready, but the Dolphins didn't draft him thinking he needs to be a day one starter. Having said that, I do like the way they're stockpiling offensive line. I really like what they're doing in the secondary. I really do. I like having X and Byron Jones and Noah in there at the slot. And we'll see what Brandon Jones can bring. And maybe Bobby McCain gets a challenge back there at the free safety spot. Maybe they leave him there. I would still like to see Bobby McCain move back to the nickel, but whatever. I do like what they're doing there. This is a team that is collecting a lot of cornerbacks. I don't know that they really value safeties that much, considering they took 2 corners last year, Eric Rowe and Bobby McCain, and turned them into safeties. So they're collecting a lot of corners. Brandon Jones is a safety. But, you know, this team is going to be in nickel and dime, as you said, the vast majority of the time. And I like that they are really cycling through a lot of DBs. They did it last year. You pick up a couple in the draft here. I think the secondary is going to be by far the strength of the team. I'm not saying it's going to be a top 3 secondary in the league, but it's going to be by far the strength of the team with quality players, I think.
Perk, what was the pick that you really liked out of this group, and what was the pick that scared the crap out of you?
Probably Tua is the same. It's the same pick. I really liked it, but it does scare the crap out of me. This could be RG3. Going past that is probably Brandon Jones, the safety out of Texas, the 3rd round pick, because you know he's a guy who likes to be physical. He's got some ball tracking skills. He's got some coverage skills, but he likes to be physical. He's kind of got that Rashad Jones type mentality, just a hard head. He's going to bring the wood. So I would really say, you know, while the draft is not all about Tua, again, he's your most talented pick. He's your riskiest pick. But the Brandon Jones pick, I really like that also.
Yeah, for me, I was definitely a fan of the Brandon Jones pick, I think. The one that's kind of where I think they took a little bit of a gamble was the Raekwon Davis pick. That's the one that I think is a little bit of a gamble because his numbers went down every single year, so they must have seen something in him that they like and that they think they can bring out of him. It almost reminded me a little bit of Jimmy Johnson and Darrell Gardner. And Gardner was that top 5, top 10 type talent that falls in the draft. And Jimmy's like, no, we'll get him to play well. And he did. He was as disruptive as it could possibly get at times here in Miami because he was a freak. That's the one that I look at and I say, okay, here's a coach saying, no, I can coach him up and get him better.
I like the Raekwon Davis pick because you don't need him to be a starter. You need him to be a rotation guy. Plus, he's got the versatility 3-4-4-3. So, you know, if he's your first-round pick, then I think it's a little more critical that he gets out there and plays, you know, day one at the top of his game. But if he's a little inconsistent or if he isn't physical enough or whatever, you know, to me, he's part of a rotation. He'll be behind Godshaw and Wilkins, and we'll see Strobridge might work his way inside a little bit also. So I think it's worth the risk. It is a risky pick because of how his numbers decline, but I liked it. Let me just say this very, very briefly, Big O. The long snapper pick. You know, he sounds. Just indulge me for 1 second. He sounds like a great kid. He followed his brother at LSU. His brother is the deep snapper in Buffalo. Got I think a 2-year contract extension this offseason. He is a legitimate NFL prospect at long snapper. But Big O, do you have to use a draft pick for this guy? Could you sign him as an unrestricted free agent and take a flyer on a linebacker or a receiver in the 6th round? Okay, I'm done. I'm done with that, Big O. I'm done. I understand it. I get it, but come on.
I'll give you one reasoning behind it. Clearly, they had conviction in him because they didn't even make a competition out of it. They cut Tabor right away. No, seriously. So that tells me that they love this kid and they didn't want to get into the stupid free agent battle with the money and the risk of not getting him. So they said, screw it. We already got an extra 6th-round pick next year by trading one of our 7th-rounders. Let's use it on this kid. Let's lock in a guy we know we're going to use, because that's what that tells me. When you cut the other guy right away and there's not even competition, that tells me you love this guy that much that you found your long snapper. So, you know, I got to give them the benefit of the doubt here. And it's a 6th-rounder. It's not the end of the world. As long as he's good, you're all right, man. I mean, as long as he's not snapping the ball over people's heads, you'll be all right. I think you'll be able to justify it is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I will tell you one thing that was interesting about him to kind of, you know, go 180 degrees in a different direction. You know, he is diabetic. And I asked him about that on the teleconference, and he said he's been taking extra precautions right now during the COVID-19 threat to making sure that his blood sugar is okay. And I asked him about being in a locker room with 90 other people or 89 other people, and he said his doctors, said as long as he minds his blood sugar, that he should be okay. So whenever these guys report, and if there's still a COVID-19 threat, at least Blake Ferguson, correct? It's Blake Ferguson. I think he should be okay even with his diabetes. He's an extra risk. He's at extra risk, but he sounds as though he's got it under control. Very sharp dude, by the way. I think he's already got his master's, and very, very impressive. Did a good Ed Orgeron impression for us on the conference call. Great sense of humor. So I like the kid. It's, I just had some been about the 6th round pick, but he sounds like a genuinely good guy, really.
And on the flip side, there, a great move to get Matt Breida with a 5th rounder. To get a guy like that with that speed, that is just absolutely awesome. With him and Howard, I was thinking about this. I would imagine that it's him and Howard, and then you've got Balaj and Gaskins battling for that 5th spot, because I think Malcolm Perry and Patrick Laird are going to be those guys that are going to the Mr. Do-It-Alls and catch passes and all kinds of crazy stuff out of the backfield and that kind of stuff. So I could see Breida and Howard, Malcolm Perry and Patrick Laird as your top 4, with Balaj and Gaskins battling for that 5th spot.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they keep a fullback. Cameron Cox last year, one of the 7th round picks. Gaskin is coming off of the injury also. So I kind of look at the running back thing. If I look at that room right now, I give it a grade of C. Both Howard and Breida have had some injury issues. Breida, you might just be renting them, right? Because it's the final year, $3 million. And I kind of feel that this is more of a patchwork deal than a permanent fix.
Oh, for sure.
I found it very interesting, the report that they had talked about acquiring Fournette and Gurley. So I guess going into the draft, when we were thinking Dobbins or Swift or any of those guys, I guess going into the draft, they already knew they had Breida in their back pocket, and it's I guess maybe if they couldn't get the, I don't know, I guess they were kind of determined on that. But the running back situation, I kind of look at, it's kind of a 1-year fix to me that they didn't really address that. I do have some concerns at running back, receiver, and tight end, because look, at receiver and tight end with Devontae and Gesicki. How much of that was them? How much of that was Fitzpatrick? And if Tua's back there, are they the same receivers? So I don't know, but I do think they did the right thing by not drafting a receiver and not drafting a tight end. Really, those guys in that room right now just have to man up. There's enough talent in both of those rooms to come through. But from my point of view, I'm not sure that it's going to happen.
Well, listen, it's a domino effect here, Perk. If the line plays better, the offensive line improves. Your quarterback's going to improve. Your running backs are going to improve. Your tight end's going to improve. Your receivers are all going to – everybody will look that much better if you have a better offensive line. There's no doubt in my mind with that. So that's their first step. And as for the running back, I want to explain to people, because you nailed it, dude. This is a transition backfield. Breida's on a 1-year contract. Maybe they tag him for a year if they feel like it, to keep him for another year. He is young, so they could build on him if they want. Howard, I don't think, is a long-term guy. But what they want to do, Perk, is build up the line over the next couple of years, get the quarterback acclimated and overall, and that's not going to happen this year anyways. If Tua plays, it's at the end, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But Tua, down the line, I think they will make that investment in that star back that in another year or two, when they're ready, when their offense is ready, and then they can have that guy that they can milk for the next 4 or 5 years, behind that line. And then they'll draft that Dobbins type player that everybody wanted in this draft. But I don't think this was the time. They didn't want the clock to start already on their future at running back in the middle of a rebuild. I think in the next year or two is when you'll see the acquisition of that, because then they're much closer to a finished product, and then that young back can grow with the quarterback. That's just my
Yep.
opinion.
No, I think you're 100% correct on that. And look, to repeat the line that we've been saying about the Dolphins for the last decade, they fixed all their problems in one off season, right?
No.
So they're clearly their priority was offensive and defensive line for the second consecutive season. I have zero problem with that. And like you say, and look, again, this draft is more about developmental, like you said with Tua, like everybody else. It's more about 2021, and so they're seeing what they've got right now and developing these guys, and then if you need to get a running back next year or another receiver or another tight end, you do that. But right now, their goals and priorities and focus is crystal clear, isn't it, Big O? They want to improve the trenches. They have stated that, and they have done that in their draft work.
Yeah, and that, to me, that's what smart teams do, smart front offices do. They build inside out, and that's what these guys are doing. As for Tua, okay, we know the kid can play. We know the kid is fantastic. My thing is, I don't think we see Tua at all this year pretty much, unless this happens, that the offensive line is playing really well at the end of the year. They're mathematically ineligible for the playoffs, and Tua, of course, is healthy. Then I can see Tua playing in weeks 15, 16, 17. But if the offensive line is not playing well at that point and Fitz is kind of running around like he was last year, or they still are alive for a playoff position or something like that, I don't see Tua playing. But if the other scenarios happen, line plays well, mathematically ineligible, and he's ready to go, can you see him playing towards the end of the year, or do you think Tua plays earlier than that?
I don't know. And let me explain that.
None of us know.
Well,
none of us know. Give me the guess.
Well, no, but let me explain. Because here's what I always say is that we still don't know this Greer and Flores duo, right? I will list the surprises to you. Pat Flaherty, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Laramie Tunsil, Byron Jones, Josh Rosen. Nobody expected Josh Rosen to start game 3 at Dallas after they had been shellacked in the first 2 games. So what I'm saying is these guys are Chan Gailey. Like, these guys have been full of surprises all the way through that we thought we had things kind of figured out. So that's all I'm saying. When I say I don't know, that's all I'm saying. I don't. These guys zig when they should zag quite often. So what I would think is that maybe midway through the season you take a look at Tua. Remember, with probably no OTAs and minicamp, a lot of these quarterbacks are really going to have to struggle to get up to speed. Other positions, it's not going to matter as much, but clearly at quarterback, it's going to take a toll. So I would say they start peaking on them at mid-season. And we'll see what happens there. And I would say almost no matter how the offensive line is playing, I think if they think that Tua is ready or if they think he needs to get his feet wet, that they will do that. But really, again, these guys have been so full of surprises that I really don't, at this point, I really don't have a good feel for the plan with Tua. I really don't.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, but I think that's the scenario I'm drawing up, because if the line isn't playing well, there's no way at all you're going to play him this season. But if they aren't playing well at the end of the year, you take the chance if he's healthy. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, Big O. If your line is not playing well and that line gets Ryan Fitzpatrick injured, do you put Tua in there as the backup, or do you put Josh Rosen in there as your backup?
I'm already telling you this. Josh Rosen is your backup, and he will be your backup the entire season pretty much. Tua will only skip him unless they get healthy. And, of course, if Rosen is playing really well, then maybe they give him that chance because Tua's the future. They can at least showcase Rosen to try to trade him. So I think there's a part of them that this year might be more about letting Tua completely heal, get to know the offense, get to know his teammates, get in rhythm with everything. Let's see if we can also bring Rosen along to showcase him to a certain extent so we can move him if there's any chance for that. Obviously, if Rosen is lost, then yeah, that's going to be a problem because I don't think they'll use Tua early on as the backup quarterback. I don't think Tua becomes the number 2 until you get to the end of the season, possibly. So I believe Rosen is your backup quarterback from here on out until the end of the year. That's just my call.
Yeah, and I hear you. And here's the other thing when I say, we still don't know the Flo Greer team because, Flo, it's a meritocracy. If you deserve it, you're going to get it. So if Tua's out there in practice spinning it and the players see that and they see that Josh Rosen is still Josh Rosen, and you make Josh Rosen the backup a heartbeat away, so to speak, that's not what Flo showed us last year, is it? Flo showed us it's a meritocracy. If you earn it, but then again, this is a franchise quarterback, and maybe Steve Ross is involved. So I really don't know, Big O. But I think that Flo has showed us that if Tua deserves, if he earns backup duties, that Flo will make him the backup because Flo believes in if you earn it, I will give it to you. So I'm really. It's going to be interesting to see how Flo and Greer handle these things.
Did you get any reaction from any people around the league on any of their street free agents? Is there anybody out there that looks like it's interesting that Dolphins should follow?
I think the center from South Carolina could be interesting because he's going to have a real chance to come in there and play. Harvey? Is that I believe Donnell Harvey. Is that
yes, Donnell Stanley.
I think
Stanley.
Yes. Harvey was a basketball player. Was that a Florida player? Anyway, Stanley. So yeah, I think he's going to because he's going to be a guy who has a chance to come in there and be a on the 53-man roster as a backup interior offensive lineman. So he's really somebody that I'm really going to keep an eye on because I don't know at this point who their backup center is. It might be Keaton Sutherland, who is a very young, inexperienced player. I don't know if you switch Dieter and get him some snaps over there. So there's some room for a undrafted free agent.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Perk, what are you working on The Athletic so folks can go get a free trial and check you out, my man?
We are doing our two deep depth chart and projected 53-man roster. That'll be out this week. And then one other thing that I'm working on is the Dolphins' best off seasons of the last dozen years, and just what those off seasons, and I'm talking draft and free agency, what those off seasons yielded and what it translated to, kind of what it was on paper, and then what it translated to on the field, and kind of use that to reflect and maybe project for this year.
All right, good stuff. As always, Perk, you are a stud, my man. I appreciate you taking some time. Make sure, Dolph fans out there, you follow him on Twitter, at Chris Perk, and catch his work there at The Athletic. You can get a 90-day free trial right now, so go do it. Perk, you are a stud, my brother. Thank you so much.
Always enjoy it, Big O. You and Bill stay safe, man.
You got it. You be good out there. Thank you, Perk. Appreciate you. By the way, just so you know, since we started the Super Chat today, Cookie Vice, Gus, Leon Fresco, Drubo, George Arthur, DraftKings, FanDuel, GPP, Julius 305, Ian from Brooklyn, Jose Banos, Dandy Photography, Sean Connolly, Nico Jones, Brennan Grogan, John Rouse, Kelvin Smith, all of you out there that helped out and donated. I appreciate all of you out there for supporting the show like you do every day by watching, downloading, and even helping us out to grow so we can cover this thing wall to wall, because that's what we're going to do, man. We promise you that. That's for damn sure. All right, let's do this. Let's take a break. Of course, our program is proudly brought to you by Toyota of Hollywood. Steve Ostrov and all the great people out there, man, they'll take care of you. The #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. 6 years in a row. There isn't a better Toyota dealership out there, man. Go see Steve Ostrov. Go see Herbie Lopez, Gary Thompson, Rick, all the great people out there, man. They're going to give you 90 days, no payments right now. They will actually bring it. They can actually even bring the car to you. You can shop online. You can shop on the phone. Call them. Call Herbie right now. Tell him, hey, Big O says I could actually pick my car and you can actually drive it to my house. They'll do that for you, man. Call them. Reach out to them. 1841 North State Road 7, just a couple blocks south of that giant guitar off the turnpike, baby. It is Toyota of Hollywood.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
That's what they say. We're back. Welcome back. George says 400 in the house. Well, we're at 368 now. We lost. Some folks left after Perk left. They left us. They left us all alone. Please, don't leave us. Help us. Anyway, welcome back. Have a little fun here on the show. So I got so many things I want to talk about. It's just crazy today, right? It's just one of those days where you get all kinds of stuff coming your way. Let's talk a little bit about some of the street free agents that they picked up. They signed Kirk Merritt. He's a wide receiver, kick returner, an athlete, Arkansas State, 6 foot 215. They signed another wide receiver, kick returner, Matt Cole, out of McKendree University. He's 5'10", 197. So notice, wide receiver returners. You know, that was kind of one of the themes I had in the draft that I said, hey, I want to add more returners to all of this, and they did in several areas. They added defensive end Bryce Stark out of Mountain State. He's 6'4", 262. He plays defensive end and outside linebacker. They also added offensive lineman Donnell Stanley. He is out of South Carolina. He's a center and an offensive guard, 6'3", 324. They also signed another center, a tackle. His name is Nick Kaltmeyer, 6'7", 313, out of Kansas State. They signed a defensive tackle, Benito Jones, 6'1", 316, out of Mississippi. They signed defensive lineman Ray Lima, 6'3", 316, out of Iowa State. And they signed defensive end Tashawn Render, out of Middle Tennessee State. He's actually a defensive end and can also be an outside linebacker. He stands at 6'3", 256 pounds. So I sent out, some notes out to some of my guys. I'm waiting to hear back from some of them. But let's see here. Where are we at here? Okay, Stirk. And talking about Bryce Stirk. Stirk is a stiff edge rusher with some production. Benito, talking about Benito Jones. Benito started maybe 2 years at Ole Miss. Kaltmeyer is a typical free agent offensive tackle. Lima is a defensive tackle body on the inside without a ton of talent, but someone who will make camp better and a quiet glue kind of guy for the team. So not necessarily these outstanding reviews. Stanley, by the way, one guy says, is a versatile guy that is going to swing from guard to center, but will fit more at center. So Stanley could be one of those guys competing for that backup center spot. I like the Render kid. He's going to surprise a lot of folks at defensive end if he keeps developing. So this scout likes Tyshawn Render out of Mississippi, out of Middle Tennessee, 6'3", 256 defensive end, outside linebacker. Let's see here. Still waiting on a couple of other guys, and I'm hoping that they send me something later. Mark, thank you, sir. Appreciate you for chiming in on the Super Chat. That is very nice of you. What is it? Bonaquisti. Okay. Did I pronounce it right? Bonaquisti? Is that how it's pronounced? Bonaquisti, I think. Tell me, Mark. But Mark, thank you very much, man. I appreciate you putting in the donation and helping us grow and become the kind of sports show that you guys want covered, man. Well, let's go cover. And wait till we get the games back and all that stuff. Bill and I now will be able to expand the show a little bit more, go to camps, cover games, get some interviews, press conferences, things like that. We're going to do a lot of stuff on the road, too, now. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. We're looking forward to it. Let's see. What do we got here on the chat board here? Stefan Gugliata says, oh, I know. Okay. RC in the 305, here's what's trending for me. Will all the undrafted free agents and draftees that are returners, Gant will either be cut or just primarily involved in wide receiver reps? No, you got to involve. No, he's more important in the returner than wide receiver. What I think is he'll be limited at wide receiver so you can keep him fresh as a returner, is what I think is going to happen. He's too good, man. He's a really good returner. Finn Sports Football says, I could see him taking over for Grant or Wilson depending on who we don't keep. George says, 385 in the house. Let's show Big O some love. Shares, likes, subscribe, support the show. That's right. Subscribe it, baby. Likes, share, send it to a friend. Let's see. Sharif says, all the opinions who thought we could have traded for Wirfs, guess what? You never get Hunt or Weaver for Wirfs. Just realize this, please. Let's see. Michael Mata says, what's up, O? A beautiful Monday, baby. The Dolphins are better and a step closer to getting to that elite status. Richard Sardinas says, it's interesting to see who will have the better career, Tua, Herbert, or Burrow. I'm with you. All right, let's go to the accidentlawfirm.com text line because I know it's like absolutely freaking loaded right now. The accidentlawfirm.com text line, and we'll get some of those questions in. You know what? I can do it a lot faster in this one, so I'd rather do it on this one here. Man, this thing is. I was right. There's a bunch of texts. Let's get to it. Ready? Here we go. All right, AJ from Hialeah, what do you think about Jeff Thomas for special teams? I don't like Jeff Thomas. I think he's a punk. New England ended up signing him. They did get Hill, which I would have liked Miami to take a shot at Hill. Do you think the Finns can skip drafting a QB and sign an undrafted QB? I think there was a chance that they were going to get a QB either way, but it didn't happen. But I thought there was a chance. There's no doubt about that. Finn Fania says, hey, O, do you think Charles Harris is taking a big dump right about now? Oh, Charles Harris is his ass has been put on notice, and he'll get cut right at the end of training camp if he doesn't turn it on. Laughing my ass out loud. Tulane 6th-round wide receiver torching Dolphins in the first round. A first-rounder who won't start. Okay. Big O, I know with the whole man-to-man scheme, would you have picked Xavier from Alabama versus Noah from Auburn? Well, I don't mind the Noah pick, man. The corner's going to play a lot. You got to be deep at 3 corners. And if you listen to the show on Friday, I explained to you, even one of my scouts thought that Noah could turn into a number 1 corner. And maybe that's what they also think in that building. So remember I told you can't trade X this offseason because he's coming off a domestic issue and a knee injury. So you're not going to get his value. So if he comes back next year off the knee injury and everything, and he goes out and is a model citizen and kicks ass, value comes back the following year. You can trade him. If Noah kicks ass, you can elevate him. So there you go. Big O, my dear brother, I've been a Dolphin fan since '66. I'm not crowning you Nostradamus, but, sir, you nailed it this 3 years ago. Tear it down, get rid of Tannenbaum, let Greer do his thing. This is so exciting watching a true plan in place. And trust me, sir, it would mean nothing without B-Flow. Fins up. That's right. But who hired B-Flow? Chris Greer. Are you guys surprised they didn't trade picks for upgraded picks next year? They did. They traded a 7th-rounder for a 6th-rounder. They've got enough picks next year. They got 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, man. You know, they'll be fine. Great show. Thank you for working overtime, guys. Yeah, I think we worked a little overtime this weekend. Yeah, Bill and I were, we definitely enjoyed our Sunday just vegetating. Big O, he'll be good in the Wildcat. I don't know. Oh, you're talking about Breida? Yes, I agree. Breida will be great. I love that pickup, man. Breida, him and Howard are like opposite. You know, it's 2 different styles of backs. I love it. Wasn't J.B. Brown a 12th round pick? Yes, he was. And he was still bad. Big O, Chad Henning was the defensive tackle from Air Force. Thank you. That's the one I was thinking of over the weekend. I appreciate you chiming in with that. So good. Thank you all for helping me out on that one. Hey, Big O, I think it was the best draft we've had in the last 20 years. I think Greer, Marvin Allen, and Reggie McKenzie nailed this draft. Lastly, I want to thank you and Bill for the draft show. I really enjoyed every minute of it. G from Pennsylvania. G, thank you so much, man. Very kind of you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We had a blast. It was actually fun. I mean, obviously we weren't in Vegas. We weren't at Tommy Rockers, but it is our home whenever we're out there. Future Raiders game.
Hey, we're back in 2021.
Huh?
2021.
See, I'm surprised because it was supposed to be Cleveland,
right?
Green Bay, Kansas City.
Yeah.
So they must have gone back and redid it.
Yeah. By the way, we're all getting together for the draft next year in Cleveland. And we're all I want to get the biggest group of Doll fans together on the Wednesday before the draft, okay? We're going to talk about this for the next year. This is my idea. We all meet at the Hall of Fame, and we just terrorize the Hall of Fame, not forming any ruckus or anything, just the Dolphin Nation walking through the hall. And we should all take pictures. A bunch of us should surround Marino's bust and Shula's bust and take a picture. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be cool if we all hung out next year at the Hall of Fame on that Wednesday before the draft starts on Thursday? That would be awesome. We got a bunch of picks, 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, so we're going to have a lot of fun with this. So I'm calling this out already, all right? Let's do this. Next year, let's meet. We were going to do Vegas. We'll do Vegas 2 years from now. We'll plan, man. We'll get all of this going. Next year, we're going to have the biggest Dolphin contingent ever to walk through the Hall of Fame. Okay? We can all have some fun, BS, take pictures. You know what I mean? We can, we'll put it on YouTube Live. I love that. And then we leave and we all stay together for a big-ass party somewhere. Okay? Seriously. That's what we got to do now. This is what this show is all about. It's you guys. It's the Dolphin Nation. You know what I mean? It's hardcore sports fans. That's what I want this show to be about, man. So how about that? You guys like that idea? Because I think that's a cool idea. Big O, I was just wondering your opinion. Was the Tua pick a total Greer-Flores pick, or did Stephen Ross kind of order the pick from above? No, that's all Greer and Flores, man. It's all Greer and Flores. You can bet your life on that. All had the draft grade A through Hunt. However, Finn should have traded up to get a stud running back. We now have a broken down part-time back. If other teams with lower draft capital moved up, definitely could have. Dobbins was right there. Stupid. Most of these 5, 6, 7 rounders will never make it. You mean like Jakeem Grant never made it? You mean like Godchow never made it? You mean like Isaiah Ford never made it? You mean like Preston Williams, undrafted free agent, never makes it? You mean like Jay Ajayi in the 5th round, never makes it? Just saying, bro. I don't have to go back to Zach. I don't even have to. Just recent history. You sure these late picks never make it, bro? You sure about that? Because just off the top of my head, I just remembered several of them. I'm just saying. I like what I don't know about you guys. I know it's only a couple games. I like what I saw from Andrew Van Ginkel. I'm interested to see if that kid can grow. 5th rounder. Not who you draft, not where you draft, it's who you draft. Just saying. Big O found my bro. Keep up the great work. Dolphin Donnie in New Jersey. Thank you, Dolphin Donnie. I appreciate you, my man. Football is a game of discipline. You can beat teams at this level by playing penalty-free football. By the way, how can I attend training camp? Well, dude, that's the Dolphins thing. I have no idea. I don't even know if training camp's going to be open to us. I don't know any of that stuff. Okay? Big O, listening to you every day about the draft has been great. Really appreciate your optimism. I'm totally with you about the great work by Greer and Flores. You are awesome, my brother Larry. Thank you, L Train. I appreciate you. Jess in Minneapolis, always one of our favorites. Monday, 10:24 Central. Sound loss. Yeah, but we're back, Jess. No audio on the stream. Okay, that's when the audio went down. Nobody talking about Brandon Jones. Love the pick. He's going to be very good. Well, you got to remember, we talked about Brandon Jones, but we talked about him on Saturday. You know what I mean? So yes, I like the Brandon Jones pick. Bro, your YouTube feed text is more broken than Tua's ankles. Well, dude, what do you want me to do, bro? Things go down, and then we're back, and nothing's the internet's not perfect. Big O, the kid from Arkansas State, Kirk Merritt. That dude is a freak athlete. Looks like a DK Metcalf from Seattle. Big is a much more polished receiver. The dude is going to be big for us in multiple ways. Well, I think that's the kid that had some baggage. Maybe it's like Preston Williams who had baggage. Raekwon Davis is a space eater, run stuffer, not about stats, defense, tackles, thanks. Yes, but his stats went down consistently. So we got to see. Look, they obviously saw something and they like him. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. I'm just saying this is one that you can put a little red flag on it to see what they do with him now. Let's see. There's no draft in Cleveland next year. The commissioner said the draft is in Vegas next year. No, sir. The draft is in Cleveland in 2020, and then it's in Vegas after that. Cleveland next year, they had a hole the second
2021.
year. 2021 is 2021 is Cleveland. 2022 is Vegas. Next year Cleveland. The following year Vegas.
Prior to that, because I had looked it up.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what it is, dude? You heard, or ma'am, you heard the commissioner say it the other day where he mistakenly said it, and he was wrong in the process of it, okay? All right? So that's why. He was not on target there. He mistakenly said it was the following year, and it's not. That's probably what it is. It's not your fault. It's that the commissioner did do it. DJ Galaga, by the way, thank you, DJ Galaga, for contributing to the program, my man. I appreciate you. Michael Mata, thank you, Michael Mata, for contributing to the program. I appreciate you, my man. That is very, very kind. George Albanese, the hardcore, always listening, also chiming in. Thank you for all you do, guys. This show has become a much-needed escape from what's going on in this world. Really wish I could give you more. No, dude, you've given more than enough, my brother, okay? I don't, if you can give, great, and help us grow, that's fantastic. And if you listen, that's just as good. And if you can text, that's great. If you can share, that's fantastic. If you can share with a friend the link, that's even better. Subscribe, all those things. Download the audio. All that stuff is the way you guys really support us in a big-time way. So there's many ways to support us, man. So thank you so much. Any little bit counts, man. Listen, compared to where we started, we used to have, 6 months ago when we started this thing, there were 5, 10, 15, 20 people on the chat board, okay? It's up to 370 right now. Now we're averaging 400 people now in every show, which has been pretty awesome.
The other way you take part is by texting, getting involved.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Appreciate that.
I mean, if you're sitting there listening or listen to please send in questions, anything, whatever, reach out.
Yeah. Anything that you can do, obviously, is a monster plus for us here on the program, and it's just another way that you guys can actually participate on the show. Let's see, what else do we have here on the program? If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you see it there, 786-322-1105. That's the way you want to get in on the show. I got a couple of other things that I definitely really want to talk about with the Dolphins. At 1 o'clock, I'm going to get into it after the interview with Travis Reier. I'm actually interested to see if I butchered his name. Is it Rear? I don't know exactly how it is, but we'll ask him how he pronounces it. But at the top of the hour, we'll get Travis on. Travis, by the way, works for Bama Online, and he covers, some guy named Tua, I think, right? I think he's a quarterback or something like that. So we'll get into a little Tua talk with him, and we'll ask him all about the quarterback from Alabama. I got a bunch of other things that I want to get into Dolphin-wise that I have not gotten into. I'm telling you, a bunch of really, really good nuggets that I want to get into and points that I want to make on this. I got some stuff around the NFL that I want to talk about. This is crazy, dude, because we're already 2 hours in, and I've got a lot of things on my mind still that I want to get off. So this is going to be some juicy stuff. Let's see what we got here before we go to the break. Let me go to the chat board a little bit here. Baraccio says Brandon Jones could end up being the best safety taken in the draft. Some draft profiles I saw compared him to Devin McCourty. I got a lot of really good reviews on him. You want a great review, by the way? Let me give you one that, for those of you that weren't listening to the show on Saturday, let me give you one that you'll like about Brandon Jones here. Here you go. Ready? He's from Pompano. Great kid, well-grounded and tough. Very tough, he put. There's an NFL scout. Played out of position and had a few injuries, but trimmed his body and came on late. Stood out at the Senior Bowl, showed power and versatility to play inside and out and add 3-down value. Local kid that will be great in the community with a strong family background. Family is old school. Great asset. Worker and knows how to work. Eddie Jones, formerly of the Miami Heat, is a cousin. So there you go. That's a nice review there of a kid. Not only the player, but the character and all of that. So I thought that was pretty cool on their part. King Short says, best show on YouTube. Thank you, Big O and Bill. Appreciate you, as always, for tuning in. King Short, you are always locked in. Daniel Gallegos says, Big O, do you think Tua needs to sit for a year? Yes, I do. It's a hip injury that he had surgery in November. So, yeah, hell yeah, I think he needs to sit for a year. That's why I told you that I don't think I just don't believe that, what's it called, with, damn, what was I just saying right now? Now I brain farted for a second.
What,
you
Chris?
weren't listening. You weren't listening right now what I was just saying. But now I forgot. I think I was talking about, was it Tua? Now I brain farted and I completely forgot what the hell I was saying. Anyways, it doesn't matter. You know what? I'm glad I forgot because it's 12:59. We got to go to Travis Reier. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. I will elaborate more on the Dolphins once we're done with Travis Reier. I do want to remind you that Pallet Rack City is a proud sponsor of our program. We love talking about Eddie Pereira and Pallet Rack City. And let me tell you, some tough times right now. If your warehouse needs some work, whether it's buying or selling, new and used pallet racking, nobody better than Pallet Rack City. Call Eddie Pereira. Tell him that Big O sent you. 305-887-9212. They sell and used forklift and dock equipment. They have the largest used racking inventory in South Florida. They specialize in knockdowns and installations of your warehouse equipment. So call Pallet Rack City, 305-887-9212. Tell them that Big O sent you, Eddie Pereira and Pallet Rack City.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with zero down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All righty, welcome back. All right, we promised you we're going to talk a little Tua and, of course, Travis. I hope I don't butcher the name. Is it Reier from BamaOnline.com? You can follow him on Twitter at Travis Reier. Is that how it's pronounced, Travis? Or did I butcher it?
You win today. You win today's bonus prize, though. Great job with that. That's often butchered, so it's appreciated when somebody gets it right.
Hey, listen, with the name like Alzy Gary, trust me, brother, I know all about butchering, and it's kind of like you get used to it pretty much at this point. Anyway, how you doing, Travis? How you hanging in there in this crazy time?
Yeah, we're doing as best we can. I know you guys can relate as well, and just trying to follow as much of the safety measures as we can. And at the same time, go about our daily business. It's surreal for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, so when you were watching the draft, were you shocked? Were you surprised? Or were you just saying, okay, this is what I expected? I expected Miami to take him at 5.
I didn't expect Tua to go lower than 6. So I would say it was pretty much in accordance with what I anticipated going down. Now, there's so much talk. I guess you could say a lot of it's smoke in the days leading up to a draft each and every year. So, yeah, you start trying to wonder what's real, what's fiction. But, at the end of the day, it was, I guess, the Dolphins ownership group that was on the field at the Citrus Bowl on New Year's Day when Tua was down there on the sideline as well. And it kind of played out exactly that way, that they would come together on Thursday for the first round of the NFL draft. I'm like everybody else. I like the pick, especially if you're going to tell me Tua's medical is going to allow him a window of, say, a decade or so. If you get 10 good years out of this guy, you should get a lot of wins with that.
So let me ask you, Travis, do you look at it like he's fragile, or do you look at it like he just has bad luck?
I don't think he's fragile. I think if I were the Dolphins, and I don't know if this is allowed based on the collective bargaining agreement, but I would put in his contract every time he takes more than a step outside the hash marks to his left, he's fined $100,000. Because if you go back and you watch the problems that he had at Alabama, and there weren't many problems. There were far more highlights, far more superlatives, whatever you want to call it. But when he moved to his left and kind of patted the ball a little bit, took an extra step or two, both of his injuries in 2019, he sprained his ankle against Tennessee, moving to his left, trying to make a play. Does the same thing against Mississippi State on the hip injury. Even in that Tennessee game before the ankle injury, he threw an interception in the red zone where he was moving left, trying to extend the play because he's adapted that. But I think it's on Tua as much as anybody else to sort of preserve his health moving forward. And I think that's certainly something Chan Gailey and the rest of that staff are just going to reinforce constantly into his head.
Let's hope so. And now here's the other thing that I've been saying. Travis Reier, by the way, who covers Alabama on a daily basis for Bama Online, is following us here at BamaOnline.com, is joining us here. And you can follow him, by the way, on Twitter at Travis Reier, which is spelled R-E-I-E-R. Travis, when you look at the way he played, the way he led, all of that, and you've been around this for a while, you've seen players transition. What outside of him figuring out, hey, I got to get rid of the football, what else do you see for him to try to transition to the next level? What else is going to be a hurdle for him?
I just don't really, I think like anyone else, I think sometimes he is overly confident in himself in terms of his skill set. It's a hard lesson a lot of young quarterbacks have to learn once they make that move. As you've heard ad nauseum, and it's cliche, but it's also very true. The windows get a lot tighter. I'm not sure 1 through 4, not a knock on Devontae Parker and the receivers the Dolphins have. I don't know, relatively speaking, if he's going to have that kind of group to work with either at the next level relative to the competition that he's playing against. I mean, that was sort of a generational group to go on with a generational quarterback around here when you talk about the wide receivers. But I just think he is elite in so many ways when it comes to just throwing the football. He's instinctive. He's decisive. He's incredibly accurate. We hear so much of the talk about, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs III, DeVonta Smith, these receivers, they made him look a lot better than he really is. No, it was very much a two-way street. Yes, those guys made a lot of plays, but there are more than a few occasions, if you go back and really look, where he threw guys into touchdowns too. And I just, I think it's going to be tough because if he's where he needs to be from a health perspective, you're going to want to put this guy on the field. That's what made it tough for Jalen Hurts around here. I got to think if you were Nick Saban and that Alabama coaching staff, Jalen Hurts was your starter, but every day you're seeing this guy, the best passer that Nick Saban's ever worked with at the college level. And he's just doing his thing each and every day. And it's going to be difficult not to take the wrapper off of Tua pretty quickly, I don't think. Again, because he will take your breath away with throws that are by, I can see they're simple throws. But even against air, you see enough from him to know that he's just one of those special guys.
You know why, Travis? One of the things that that you're describing, it's ball placement. And ball placement's one of those things that, there's the guy and it's a crossing route, right? And the receiver throws it a little behind, so the receiver, instead of catching it in front of him, catches it behind him, but then keeps going and gains a couple yards. And the average fan usually looks at it and says, okay, completed pass. The coach looks at it and says, we would have gotten 4 more yards if you put the ball in front of him and not make him turn around. Ball placement is something that some people don't even pay attention enough to, but coaches and quarterbacks and quarterback coaches, they all pay attention to that. And that's the thing that when I look at this kid, he excels at that. And that's where the elite quarterbacks at the next level are so much better than everybody. It's not that they're finding open guys. It's that they're placing the ball where the open
throwing them open.
Yes, can continue to make more plays.
Yeah, he does his receivers a lot of favors, when you watch him, because he's anticipating what the receiver can't see a lot of times. In other words, DBs and safeties getting downhill on some of the shorter routes. He can help keep your wide receivers healthy too, from that perspective, because he doesn't have a tendency like a lot of other quarterbacks to sort of put his guys in peril as far as what we're talking about with ball placement in addition to all that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now, let me ask you something. Travis Reier, by the way, joining us from BamaOnline.com. Travis, I've said, and I know that he's going to be intoxicating and you want to play him because he's such a great dude and he can play the game and he can pass and all of that, but I still think you can't play him for a while because it's a hip injury. I don't think you play him till towards the end of the year where you're a year removed from that surgery and you give him a lot of time to heal. Plus, I got to make sure the Dolphin offensive line is actually playing well if I'm putting him back there. If you're Brian Flores, you've been around this kid, how long do you wait to put him back there from everything you heard from this surgery and recovery?
Yeah, I just talked about this on my show up here in Tuscaloosa just a few minutes ago. And I probably, if Austin Jackson is a plug-and-play left tackle, I probably want to see if he can handle that first, right? Before I put my future quarterback out there.
That's right.
I mean, no offense to Ryan Fitzpatrick and not to give him the crash test dummy treatment, but I'm with you. I'm going to see if this offensive line can hold up pretty well first before I put out there what I think is going to be my guy for the next decade plus.
Is he better than Joe Burrow?
If he's healthy in terms of pure passing ability, it's not close between Tua and the rest of the quarterbacks in this draft. It's just not. I mean, think about it this way. Let me put it this way. Frame it this way. If Joe Burrow was coming off a dislocated hip with a posterior wall fracture, does Joe Burrow go 5th overall in this draft?
No. That's a great point. I never thought of that. You're right. Yeah, I've been having fun over the weekend with this. I said, well, wait a minute. If you get Jordan Love's 18 season, it was great. 19, he lost his coaches, lost his players, all that stuff, and his season went to crap. Well, what if we put Jordan Love on LSU's team that had 14 draft picks, drafted? Yeah. And what if we put Jordan Love on Utah State where he had all his players one year and then lost everybody the following year? How would Joe Burrow look and how would Jordan Love look if we switch the teams? I was just throwing that. Now you throw this one to me at Tua, and that's a great line. I like that.
And let's talk about a fifth-year senior compared to a third-year junior.
Yeah.
There's 2 more years of maturity there, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not a person that knocks Joe Burrow all the time. That's not my intent here. But to me, the biggest attribute Joe Burrow had in his corner, in addition to Joe Brady coming in with a 21st century philosophy and the personnel that LSU was able to put around Joe Burrow's number one attribute to me was his maturity. And being a fifth-year senior, how many fifth-year seniors do we see at the quarterback position going in round 1 of drafts these days? I mean, these guys are all third-year guys for the most part, right? What are we going to see next year?
Right. Yeah.
With Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. I mean, again, not to knock Joe Burrow. I just think his mastery of this level of football, because of, in large part, his maturity, was just so beneficial to him and that team. Leadership, intangibles, give me 53 Joe Burrows, okay? And he may prove to be a great NFL quarterback. I think he's more along the lines of Alex Smith when Alex Smith came out of Utah, myself. But, no, if we're talking about just elite passers, there's 2 and everybody else in this last draft.
Travis, just for fun, he wears 13. He's not going to wear 13 here because they've got it retired because of Marino. I think the story is he was number 11, but he took 13 because 11 was taken in Alabama. Is that correct? Is that really his number? It was 11 that he wanted? Is that true?
You know, I'm not sure if it is, because he came in with Henry Ruggs III, who wore 11. They were classmates. So I'm not sure how that did or didn't work out. Henry ended up in 11. Tua ended up in 13. I'm not sure. So maybe he just goes the 1 and 3 and ends up taking 4, something like that. Who knows?
Yeah,
he doesn't seem all that worried about it.
Yeah, that's the other thing I kept telling Dolphins. This is the kind of dude that doesn't care about this kind of stuff.
No.
For him, it's just give me whatever number, bro. That's not going to affect what I do or what I don't do on the field. Right?
No, that he loves. What I like about Tua as much as anything is this dude genuinely loves to play. He just loves to play. And the other stuff is inconsequential to him. He loves to play the game.
What's your favorite Tua leadership story that you've covered?
Wow. I think the relationship, and I give Jalen a lot of credit for this too. I think it's kind of a split thing. Just the manner in which they operated and conducted themselves throughout, that stretch. Because I don't think a lot of people expected that after that Georgia game, they would remain together for another entire season like they did. And so at every turn, at every corner, Tua was just exceptionally gracious and ultra respectful of Jalen's place on the football team. Even after Tua had supplanted Jalen, he was very mindful of the fact that while not a starter at that point, Jalen was still someone that had the ear of the rest of that team as a leader. And so, I thought Tua's respect of Jalen from that perspective, and just even in the Georgia game and the SEC title game that next year, there was no one, just like Jalen was always visibly happy for Tua. Tua was very much the same way after Jalen came off the bench there in the fourth quarter against Georgia in the SEC championship game. He's just a good teammate. I mean, he's a good teammate who is going to make guys around him better, not just in terms of his play, but just his aura, around that facility on a daily basis. That's one of the things you heard Nick Saban talk about after that Mississippi State game. Just Tua being who he is and how big a void that left, around the facility at UA. So it's really ideal. You're getting a again, I think just a superior quarterback, and then you're getting a genuinely good dude that cares about his teammates.
Travis Reier, of course, who covers the Alabama Crimson Tide for BamaOnline.com, joining us here. Travis, one more thing before I let you go. Let's talk a little Raekwon Davis, because Miami picked him in the second round. Tell us a little bit about Raekwon. You've covered him for a little bit.
Raekwon is going to make you think, physically anyway, DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead. You know, he's one of those sort of extraordinary defensive linemen that is in that 6'6", 6'7" range that you frankly just don't see as much of. But he was a guy coming out of the gates, especially that sophomore season 2 years ago. You thought about the performance that year and his future at Alabama. You just figured it was one more year, and then this guy's going to be a 3-and-out to the National Football League. Didn't happen that way. His production wasn't what you sort of expected it to be his junior year, and really even his senior year in terms of tackles for loss and sacks and things like that, not exactly through the roof either. But here's what you like about Raekwon Davis. When he's been asked about it, he's owned it. And when I've watched Raekwon Davis at practice or, in games, I don't see a guy that just takes a lot of plays off. He just has to figure out a way to get to another level of playmaking. And he's still fairly early in his development. And as we've seen with some of the guys I mentioned previously, it took Eric Armstead a little while to get to where, he was coveted like he was here recently, I guess, by the Colts, or maybe that was Buckner, one of the two. But he's got that kind of upside is the point. And so Raekwon going round two, with what he can be, that made some sense.
Well, I love that he's a man enough to own up to it and all of that. But when you look at it from an outsider's point of view there, why did his production go down? Because obviously these guys must see something in him that they think they're going to be able to pull out. So was it the scheme? Was it the way he was used? Was it lack of opportunity? Well, what do you see in his game and why his production fell over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think his junior year, it was a little bit more of just being overshadowed by a guy having a heck of a year. I mean, Quinnen Williams went off, and kind of went from off the radar to number 3 overall pick, I think it was, by the New York Jets a year ago. So that was part of it. But it doesn't excuse Raekwon's numbers in terms of tackles for loss and sacks and quarterback pressures, because there was more and more of a focal point on Quinnen as that 2018 season wore on. I think in 2019, he did see more double teams come his way, and Alabama never really had that other defensive lineman sort of develop like they had in previous years, whether it was Deron Payne, Quinnen Williams, Raekwon as a sophomore. So that, I think, that sort of hindered him. He made a lot of tackles. He just didn't have a lot of negative play production. So, my thing with Raekwon all along, the first time I saw Raekwon on a practice field at 6'6", 6'7", 310 pounds with that wingspan and that length, I was like, boy, somebody should have told him early to play left tackle, because that's kind of what he looked like. But he showed, again, that sophomore year, that's more of the Raekwon Davis that you're looking for if you're the Miami Dolphins. He was very big down the stretch of that national championship season. Had an interception against Georgia in the title game, so it's there. It's just getting it out of him. Plus, I'll say this for Raekwon too: 3 defensive line coaches in his last 3 years, so he underwent some transition pretty heavily there too.
Yeah. All right. So is he worth the second round pick in your eyes?
I think based on his ceiling, I can understand it. I thought based on the last 2 seasons, that may be a little bit high for him. But if I were going to say that, I would say probably only by a round. I was thinking more third round with Raekwon. But again, when you watch Raekwon get off the bus, you think top 10 pick. Right. So I can see where if you're a club and you're just again, you're looking at measurables and things like that and projecting, I can see where you could maybe give him a boost by a round.
All right, good stuff there. Travis, I appreciate you taking the time, man, and enlightening us Dolph fans down here about two of these very important picks, part of their rebuild. Just out of curiosity, Noah Igbenogany, or whatever his name is, from Auburn, since you got to see him several times, what'd you think of the corner since Alabama and Auburn meet each year at the Iron Bowl? So you got a good taste in that state of watching Noah all the time. Did Miami get themselves a good corner there?
I think Noah is kind of like Raekwon, just that Noah's that guy at corner. I mean, when you look at him physically, it's easy to fall in love. And I think probably I would say even more so than Raekwon when I think about Noah. I think that his best football is still out in front of him. Certainly a position of value at corner. And I also like that he has a body type that should allow for cross-training, throughout a scheme, depending on what you want to do with him. And unlike a lot of corners these days, he's willing when it comes to forcing on the edge. He doesn't mind the physical aspects of the job. I'd say he's still a little bit of a work in progress from a man coverage or just coverage in general perspective. But, yeah, I think he's kind of like Raekwon that way, in which you say, if we're going to take a chance, we're going to take a chance on talent. And I think that's where he fits that bill.
Well, make sure you follow him on Twitter at Travis Reier and catch his work there at BamaOnline.com. Travis, thank you for taking some time, man. We really appreciate it. Great insight on the players. Have a fantastic
Thank you for having me.
Stay safe, my brother.
Take care.
You got it. There you go. Travis Reier, man. Good stuff there. Appreciate him, as always. Damn, bro. All right. It's a lot of talking over the weekend.
Allergies are getting you?
It ain't allergies. It's just it's a throat that's been used a lot over the last couple of days. Talking a lot. Worn out a little bit. Dougie Fresh has chimed in. Dougie Fresh says, and Bill, order some lunch and take a bow. You grinded like madmen with the draft coverage. Thank you. However, now my girlfriend can't stop singing, "This is the Big O Show." Please help, because she can't sing. And now that we talked about the theme song, I had a nice long conversation yesterday with Steven Carter. Yeah, the original rock version of our theme song. A lot of you out there that have been following the show for many years, a lot of you love that rock and roll theme version one. So we're going to get one. We're going to get one done for this podcast, for the show. So, because the one I have has QAM in it, you know what I mean? So I can't play that one, so we got to get one that's just for our show, nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate it. And Dougie Fresh, thank you for the super chat, as always. All of you out there that really helped out today with the super chat. I mean, you've been really, it's a super strong start with the super chat. So thank you so much, man. Good stuff, as always.
It's funny that Dougie Fresh would mention, having a song laid on you and just in your head. Remember, I told you the other day I turned my sister on to Get the Funk Out of My Face.
Oh, yeah.
From Semi-Pro. She was still singing it yesterday.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, it gets
so Dougie,
a little catchy, too.
So, Dougie, it could be worse. You could have Get the Funk Out of My Face stuck singing along all day.
You could. That could be the problem, man. That could be the issue. Do you know what I'm saying? For those of you, by the way, that need to help your business thrive in this environment, and when it comes to this pandemic, which has set us all back, you can call my friends at 300Bs. Go to 300Bs.com. The business world is changing, and when you're going to change the way they do business, digital sales are on the rise now more than ever. So if you feel like you don't know where to start or where to take the steps forward, go to 300Bs. The internet is a powerful business tool, and many entrepreneurs are not really capitalizing on it. So if you don't want to accept it, I think now's the time, folks. Move ahead. Call my guys, Chris, at 300Bs. They will take care of you, folks. They can be your digital partner and help your business grow. 786-431-5335. That's 786-431-5335. And you can also reach out to him at Chris at 300Bs.com.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with zero down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty, we're back. We back. Yes, we are ready, and thank you all for tuning in, as always, every single day. How we've built this thing up. It's been a lot of fun, man. It's definitely been an enjoyable ride to watch this thing grow organically the way we're doing it every single day. So I thank all of you out there, as always, for looking out, and give us the thumbs up and subscribe and share and all that good stuff as always. I want to get into let me get into a little karma for us Dolphins, right? Because maybe that's what's happening here. You know, over the last, 20 plus years, maybe we have had bad karma, right? The bad karma of bad teams, bad coaches, bad ownership, leadership, all that kind of stuff has happened, to the Dolphins. And they've had all kinds of bad luck in the process, for years now. We could go from trading for Eric Green and it never worked out, to Hugh Green and he blows out his knee, and Anthony Carter for Robin Senline, and we could just go on and on and on and on and talk about everything that's gone on for the last 30, 40 years here. And there's been a lot of bad breaks for us, right? And this is one of those situations where, we saw, Wanstead do stuff that kind of, you saw a great defense get old and we never took advantage of it. There's a lot of frustrations that's happened to us as Dolphins, right? A lot of bad decisions, having to deal with Mike Tannenbaum as a coach, the 1-15 season with Cam Cameron, picking, I know he's had a good career, but he was never going to justify the number 9 overall pick. And it's not Ted Ginn's fault. It's still Cam Cameron's fault, okay? More than anything else. But my point is that this last offseason and the regular season started with a theme. The theme was tank for Tua. So let's go over that. The people that wanted a tank for Tua, they were thinking of Tua. Burrow wasn't even mentioned as a draft pick then. Okay, at that point, Burrow wasn't even on anybody's radar. He would have been a third-day quarterback at best. Okay?
I was going to say, he was on their third-day radar,
Yes.
like 5.
Right. So we all know that it was a third day probably for a guy like that. So what if Burrow is a one-year wonder? And what if Miami did end up sucking like we thought, especially like I did, that they weren't going to win anything, and they end up with the number 1 pick, and maybe Burrow's not that guy. Maybe Burrow put together one magical year that nobody can ever put again, and neither could he. I watched Matt Leinart put up some numbers with a loaded team at USC. I watched Mark Sanchez put up some numbers with a loaded team at USC. And then those guys, one-year wonders for Mark Sanchez, and it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? Now, not that Mark Sanchez put up the godly numbers that Joe Burrow did. Neither did Mitch Trubisky. His guy put up those godly numbers. But the point is, they were all one-year wonders. What if it was bad karma for the Dolphins? I know some of you might be saying, well, wait a minute. You took the injured guy. Isn't that the bad karma? But you already know he's injured. You already know he's coming off an injury. So you know what the risk is. But I've watched others fail like that. And Burrow had a team that had 14 guys that were drafted. So maybe Tua is the right guy. Maybe good karma fell in place for the Dolphins this time around. Maybe the football gods were like, no, you guys need to win some games. And we thought it was a screw-up winning the games, right? Well, I didn't. I don't care about that. I never worried about that. I root for the team to win, period. And I thought more about culture and everything else instead. That is much more important. So to me, you guys know it. If you followed the show, I wasn't that. I was about playing to win the game as much as you can and teach these young guys how to win. But the people that wanted tanking, what about if you end up really tanking? Like you end up actually losing all your games except 1 or 0, and you end up with the number 1 pick and you end up with Burrow and you think you've got the guy, and he still could be the guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing or anything. I'm just saying it could be the other way. Because all throughout our lives over the last 30, 40 years for the Dolphins, we always thought they were making the right move, and we thought that this was the right guy, and we thought this was the right coach. Oh, yeah, Saban will put us over the top. Oh, yeah, no, Parcells will put us over the top. Oh, yeah, no, Jimmy is going to make us special. For you youngins out there, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but there was a promo with Jimmy Johnson that said, we're going to be special, and we kind of laughed at him because he never made him special. You know what I'm saying? So I think that listen, none of us know how this thing's going to turn out. Okay? But I love the fact that the Dolphins did it the right way. They tore down their team. They instilled the culture. They taught their players how to win. They went through youth. And they made a lot of progress when it comes to that because they won people over all around the league. Players, agents, reporters, fans. People are looking at that going, well, wait a minute, bro. What we saw in those first 2 games, no. That was just a team getting its feet wet and figuring things out, and they were really young and green. And then when they finally got it going, they played well, and they represented themselves. So for the idiots that were thinking, oh, you're putting them at physical risk, that was not the case. For the idiots that thought that they were tanking, that was not the case. You know what I mean? So maybe good karma has set in for the Miami Dolphins with this pick here. because they did all the right things. They coached the right way. They went and got players that they felt fit their system, young players, so they can decipher which ones they like, which ones they don't, so they can build on those guys, instill that culture. It paid off because they ended up 5-4 in their last 9 games. They end up with a real quality win at the end of the year by knocking New England out of the wild card, knocking them into the wild card round and out of the bye week. And in the process, they gained a lot of respect around the league. Now, maybe the injury was a blessing. In a crazy-ass way, I'm thinking, wow, he's injury-prone. A lot of you out there are thinking injury-prone because that's the automatic thing we have to think about, Tua, right? But what about if all of this ends up becoming the perfect storm? What about if this kid, that's it, those were his injuries, and he's not going to get injured that much anymore? Obviously, he's going to have some injuries because everybody does. It's football. But nothing catastrophic like he's had in the past. You know, maybe that's the case. Right? Because we all sit here, including yours truly, and we think of the bad stuff because we watch him with a hip injury. We watch him with multiple ankle injuries. He had that knee injury right before he had the hip injury. It wasn't an operation, but it obviously set him back. He had the multiple broken bones in his hand. So we're talking about a kid that's suffered a lot. So it's easy for all of us to say, including me, injury prone. I'm just saying, I just wanted to throw that out there because I think there's a chance that maybe, maybe we finally got a break here. Maybe we got a break. I would hope so. Let's see what we got on the chat board here. Bromar says, at this point, Fitz is the best QB in the AFC East. Dolphins have a chance to win the division this season. In a crazy way, I would tell you normally you are nuts, Bromar. But right now, considering those quarterbacks, yes. Yeah, because I don't trust Josh Allen. And right now, the Patriots don't have anybody proven. And Sam Darnold is, he's a turnover machine. Let's see. George says 370 in the house. Let's show our boy Big O some love. Thank you, George. Yes, please. Let's go. Give us the thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. C Sanch 10 says Big O, keep it up. Enjoying your show from Puerto Rico. Let's see. What else do we have? John Santos says, if we have a great offensive line for the 10 years, do you think Tua can last those years or more as a Dolphin? Hell yeah, he can last as long as he doesn't get, injured. As long as he doesn't suffer any setbacks with that hip injury. Big O, what's your opinion on Jakeem Grant this year? He's taken a step back, in my opinion. He's also been injury prone. Well, he's a small guy. And let me tell you something. I love Jakeem Grant. I'm a Jakeem Grant fan. But I talked about this last year. They used him so much at receiver that wore him down. He can only be used on offense maybe 5 plays a game, 7 plays a game. That's it. And you hope to get him in big moments where he can make big plays. Keep him fresh for return game. That's what I would do with Jakeem. But if you start using him too much as a wide receiver and running routes, I think that's what hurt him last year more than anything. And he still made some plays last year. And he started to come on a little bit more towards the end of the year where he started to kind of find himself a little bit more. But there's no doubt that they are concerned a little bit with the injury because he's not the biggest guy. And that's why you saw so many returners in this draft. So it'll be up to him to, make sure that he steps it up, as they say, in a big-time way. Okay? The other thing that I wanted to talk about, so we talked about how maybe we got good karma with Tua this time around. Winning the 5 games. Last year, a lot of people, the average person will look at it and go, 5-11 sucks, which you're right. 5-11 is a crappy record. There's really no reason to get excited about 5-11, right? But when you're the Dolphins and you have torn down the team to the bone and they have no talent, and they're really not even scheduled to win 5 games. They probably should have only won a couple games. Hell, I thought they would win 0. By the time they traded Tunsil and Fitzpatrick, I was like, okay, well, then this is over, dude. They're not even going to win a game this year. And they go and win 5. And people complained a lot. But when you start to look at what's gone on now, the entire offseason and the draft, the winning the 5 games allowed you to instill your culture. It showed people around the league that this team could overcome the biggest adversity that exists in all of pro sports, a lack of talent. You might be missing a running back. You might be missing your quarterback. You might miss a left tackle in a game. But they were missing everything. Okay? And they had to start from scratch. It was a team that had no idea how to win. There were a lot of guys that hadn't even played. There were a lot of guys that have very little experience. And that's what you were rolling out every single week. And those guys all gradually got better, individually some, and collectively as a team. There's no doubt that they got way better, right? And in that process, you instilled your culture that everybody started believing in, okay? Even after the first 2 games where they got mollywopped, they still came back, played hard every single time, and they got better, and they had something to show for it. And so you instill your culture. You finish 5-4 in your last 9 games with a winning record, because that's where 5-11 looks sexy. When you tell somebody, yeah, I know 5-11 to the average person looks terrible, but if I told you they won 5 games in their last 9 with that talent, wouldn't you say that's improvement? And even the most negative Dolphin, or even somebody that hates the Dolphins, should at least say that, hey, you know what? You're right. That is it. And so, in the process, right, by winning, remember what we were just talking about before with the culture and the karma and all of that. By winning, were you rewarded with Tua? If you tried to tank, if you tried to do all the wrong things, and you land Joe Burrow, and maybe Joe Burrow was a one-year wonder, then you end up getting burned. So here, you do things the right way. You break the team down. You rebuild it the right way. You instill culture. You win people over. You win free agents and players over because people now want to be a part of this. People don't talk about the Dolphins like a joke anymore. Now people around the league are going, hey, wait a minute. That looks like they know what the hell they're doing over there. Haven't you noticed that? And oh, wait a minute. Did you see what Flores and Greer did? You know, you got to give them credit. Like, everybody's been very complimentary league-wide. They know they're green. They know they're not a great team and all that, but they know where they came from. And they beat some quality teams in the process, so people are now respecting them in a sense that, okay, this is a team trending in the right direction. And because you instill culture, because you instill the winning culture that you're trying to put in there, and you're not trying to quit, maybe you get a little, you know what? Maybe you get a little luck like the Miami Heat. Why? Because the Miami Heat could have easily folded their 10 against the Orlando Magic. And I was at that game in Orlando, the final game of the season back in whatever year it was, the year before we drafted Wade, that offseason that we drafted Wade. And they won that game, which knocked them to the 5th spot of the lottery. And if they would have lost that game, and they would have ended up in the 4th spot by instilling losing, you know what Riley would have done? He would have taken Bosch. Because that's who he liked, because, you know, he has that whole big man mentality thing. That's why Whiteside was signed, dude. It was more Riley than Spo. Spo was like, don't you see that I just came off the big 3 positionless? I don't want to do that with that guy, but Riley's in love with a big man, and he made the mistake. And he would have made the mistake by taking Bosch over Wade. Not that it would have been a bad pick. It's just you could have made a better pick with Wade. And so by winning and instilling winning and culture and being who you are as the Miami Heat, you end up winning that game and you end up with the better player. So the Dolphins, by instilling their culture and trying to win, and they lost out on that number one spot. It'll be interesting to see if in a couple of years, maybe both players are good, but Tua is better. And us Dolphins are going to sit back and say, I was worried about the injury so badly that I thought he would break down. And other people were saying, well, no, I wanted Joe Burrow instead because Tua got injured and Burrow was the number one pick. And then we see Tua ends up becoming the better quarterback. I'm just saying, these are things that could easily develop here for the Miami Dolphins. And it would be interesting that if it mirrors a little bit of what the Heat went through when they ended up with the better player one pick later in Dwayne Wade over Chris Bosh. And you have to remember that down the line, I don't know if Chris Bosh is able to talk Wade and LeBron to come to Miami. Wade was able to do that. You know what I mean? But I don't know if Bosh is able to do that. A lot of things would have changed or could have changed for the Miami Heat during that time. So just a little something there to think about.
I really believe in my heart of hearts because look, man, if you were a Dolphin fan, you had a automatic ticket to the playoffs.
Right.
And we got where we started complaining about just making the playoffs, not getting to the Super Bowl, not winning a Super Bowl. Be careful what you complain about, because then we got where we didn't even make the playoffs,
right?
And it just to go as long as we have, we are so far removed from what we were. We are getting back there. There is a reason for everything the Dolphins front office does, and it connects and ties to the next plan.
Sure,
we haven't had that, man. Like you said. You got to go way back, and it's Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, and for folks out there that are wondering what number Tua should wear, okay? Let me give you my suggestion on what number Tua should wear. All right, he's not wearing 13. That's retired from Marino and all that stuff. So calm down already with that. And he told the story that he was 11 in high school, but it was taken already. So I don't know if Ruggs, like the reporter said, Travis, maybe Ruggs got it before he did, whatever, and it was taken. Tua's like, all right, whatever, give me any other number, and they gave him 13. Tua, I don't think, gives a rat's ass about the number. It just doesn't seem like that kind of guy that he's all superstitious and worried about the number. But can I make a suggestion here? What number I want Tua to wear? What I think he should wear? Because we talked about karma and doing the right things and all that, and maybe it's flowing for the Dolphins in the right direction now, right? Can you wear number 3? And I know some of you out there going, well, wait a minute, Josh Rosen has number 3. I know. But let me explain why. Because if Tua can wear number 3, he will lead Miami to a Super Bowl. That will be the Dolphins' 3rd Super Bowl in franchise history. You won't see him much this year. Next year, it'll be year 3 in the rebuild, probably getting in sync with everything. So I don't know about a Super Bowl, but in year 3 of Tua's life here, I think they could be a Super Bowl caliber type team. That'll be year 4 of the rebuild, year 3 for Tua. That'll be in 2023 when the game is played. And by the way, if he wears 3 and he brings the 3rd title, he will join D. Wade in being number 3 with the 3rd title. Just saying. And Tua, well, the name brings 3 letters. I just want to tie it to a 3.
You put a lot of thought into this, haven't you?
Lots of 3s here. That's right. Okay? Lots and lots of 3s in this process. So I say he wears 3 because there'll be good karma in 3. Problem is Rosen has it. So I don't know if, one, they're not going to offer it to him. Tua's not going to take it away or offer any money because that's not who he is. He's going to take whatever number is left over. Have we found out? Has anybody tweeted out what number he's going to be or anything like that? I have not heard anything yet.
I am sure the Dolphins are trying to get that straightened out so they could start printing some jerseys.
Yeah.
Is that a safe assumption?
Oh, that's a guaranteed assumption. You know how
Right?
many people have told me I can't wait to buy a Tua jersey?
I'm just gonna say it.
It's a cool jersey to
My
buy.
buddy that lived next door, Juan, okay, he ran out and bought a Tannehill jersey and was all,
Yeah. Well, no, but the Tua one is even better because nobody's been hyped like Tua, dude. Nobody. Nobody's been hyped like Tua.
That's the only thing that's basically been on those ESPN morning shows pretty much for the last 2-3 weeks.
Right.
Safely.
Yeah. It's been all Tua. Yeah. Big time. By the way, thank you all out there for the amazing support. Thank you so much in a big time way. Let's see where we at. What do we have? I guess you guys are going back and forth. Joe Ice Cool says Tua's not wearing 13. Get that off your heads. Exactly. Yeah, he's not wearing 13. That has nothing to do. Plus, he doesn't care about that, and he wouldn't want that. But 3, he should want it. He should want to wear 3. He'd be a perfect 3. Telling you. It's set up. Dougie Fresh says, and remember, Schoolhouse Rock, 3 is the magic number.
Redone by Blind Melon, by the way.
That's right. Sean Campbell says, can't get a Tua jersey until October with just a 1 on it. Wow, really? Not till October they're shipping them? Damn. Wow. Let's see. Sharif says, what's your final regular season win total? Mine is 10. Vegas is 6+. I'll be cashing out for Vegas and other dumbness. I'm with you on that one, Sharif. I will be betting the over on the Dolphins 6. I like the Dolphins over 6, for sure.
That's almost a gift.
Yeah. We have no Brady in the division. We might be able to beat the Patriots
It's
twice.
not even that. Look how much better we are, and we won 5 games. You're asking for 2 more?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Come on. That's you know what? That's an insult to our coaching staff.
Yeah, that's I'm with you. I love the Dolphins over 6 on this one. Bunch of 3s are coming in. People love the 3s. Rosen will bow to the great Tua. Rosen gets my water, bitch. Make yourself useful. You guys are a trip, an absolute trip. Richard Sardina says, I feel like Tua came back even stronger after that hip injury. Let's hope so, man. I'm just hoping for the good karma. That's all I want. That's all I want. Is that too much to ask? Just give me some good karma,
With the
man.
karma we've had, we're
overdue.
Long years,
Overdue.
a decade.
Remember what I said that I've said this a couple times during the year just to screw around. But just to have some fun. I mean, I get it. The football god said to us, well, wait a minute, dude. You had Greasy. We gave you a Super Bowl run with Woodstock, and then we gave you Marino. You guys need to suck for a while now. So relax, okay? You're going to suck for a while. Well, then we did. We sucked for a while now. Enough of the sucking.
I don't think we're due.
I remember back in the Neil Rogers days, that drop, enough of the sucking. We got it. Enough of the sucking.
I think we're owed.
Yes.
I think we're owed at this point.
Now we get
enough.
Greer, we get Flores, we get Tua, we move on.
We have been decimated to the Aints and the brown bag people, any of those fans that wear brown bags. That's where we're at.
Yeah, no more brown bags.
No, man.
A lot of pride, baby. A lot of pride. And let me tell you something. The Dolphins are also building on something even more historic now. That's what I'm telling you. The karma has to be a good thing here. Everything has to roll over. The football gods have to say, okay, enough is enough. We're giving them the break already. We shut them down for a while. Now we got to let them go, right? And listen to this, because we've talked about a little bit about this. No, a lot about this, but now we get to add to all of this. Remember I told you that minorities all over the league are looking at the Dolphins right now because they've got a black general manager and a black head coach. Well, they just added a minority at quarterback. So if they go and win a Super Bowl with a black quarterback that has a black head coach and a black general manager, woo, doggy. That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. Okay? That's going to be really, really cool. Because now we're breaking barriers. We're shattering, perceptions. You know what I mean? We're crushing the racist.
Stigmas.
Everything. Everything is gone. You know what I mean? And that would be really, 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 really cool. So that's another step that they took forward there in all of this. Because nobody's done this. Nobody has put together a franchise and allowed 3 minorities at the top of that franchise to run it. That your head coach, your general manager, and your quarterback are all minorities. It's really important that they succeed. Not just for you and me as Dolphin fans and wins and obviously a much better place and time for all of us, but personally, I just think it's one of those things that will mean a lot to the NFL.
It's kind of sad, man. You think about when they did that, I forget what it's called, but the requirement for you to interview X amount of minority coaches.
Yeah.
Okay? The fact that we're still having to talk about this, man, because they did this, it's got to be over 10 years ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but it all became token interviews most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. It's sad that we're still having to talk about this.
One guy goes, QB's a Polynesian. I know, but he's still dark-skinned, bro. You know what I mean? He's not white. I get he's Polynesian, but he's still not white. That's my point. That's all. I get
we should be way further along in this process, man.
We are. No, I know we are. We are as a society.
We've made progress, but
not enough.
Thank you.
Not enough. That I will give you 1,000%. But let's not say we don't make progress, because we do. Because there are black quarterbacks, there are black head coaches. We have some black executives. We've had a black president. We do things that we have made some progress. Some of us, are not racist.
We need to put a little speed to it.
Yeah,
right?
It's
we need to put some speed to it.
That's been going on for hundreds of years. We've been slow on this for hundreds of years. So I'm with you, but we have made, you know what I mean? Women are running for president, and they've held, high positions in offices across our country. We have made some strides with all kinds of minorities. You know what I'm saying?
Biden has said he's going to bring on a vice president, probably a female.
Yeah, but we are more accepting of the gay community. We have made strides in all areas. Okay, there's a lot of us that are accepting of all, but of course, it's not enough yet. We still have way too many people that are racist, that are whatever, anti-Semites, you name it, homophobes, whatever, okay, sexists, obviously. We still have way too many, but I don't like saying that we haven't made any progress. We have made some progress, okay, because there are a lot of us that we all treat each other equally, and we look at each other equally. So guess what? You and I deserve a little love for saying, yes, some of us have evolved. Some of us do grow. Some of us do accept others. We have to work on the people that don't. Those are the people we got to work on. That's what I would say with that. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Let me talk a little Last Dance. Another football note here. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. You see it right under here, 786-322-1105. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show, as always. And you can send it in on the YouTube chat board All of that and more when we come back right here for hour number 4, right? It's start off hour number 4?
Yeah, we're through 3 hours and 2 minutes.
All right.
sir.
Hour number 4 is next.
That was a nice maneuver with your ability to be a green screen actor there, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Hour number 4.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Will reimburse payments up to a total of $1,800 based on purchase and MSRP on approved credit on select models. Excludes tax, tag, title, and includes $8.99 dealer fee. Offer ends 5/4/20. Toyota of Hollywood is open, and we're here to serve you. The safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. Toyota of Hollywood is following strict guidelines, including social distancing and keeping our facilities clean and sanitized. Buy with 0 down, 0% APR financing, and we'll make your payments till 2021. Pay up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 2019 pre-owned Camry LE, not $27,000, $16,775. 2020 pre-owned Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Shop and save at our 400,000 square foot dealership at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2019 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, welcome back, folks. As always, we love you for keeping it locked here on the program and the support, the text. Wow, a super chat coming in. Dominic Veluso. Thank you, Dominic Veluso, with a super chat. You guys, wow. I got to tell you, you guys have blown us away completely with the super chat love today on the program. It shows how much what we're doing means and that you want it to grow like we do, man. And that's what we are going to, obviously grow and try to create every kind of revenue stream possible. But This is why we want to go out and cover the draft inside and out, go out to the Raiders game, go out to the Jets game, do all that kind of stuff and give you guys a real hardcore sports show. You don't get that anymore on 560 or 790. Right? They're not dedicated enough. They don't send their people out on the road. They don't spend any money. They don't do any of that. And we're going to do that. You and I are going to do that. Bill and myself are going to be the guys that are going to hit the road, and we're going to, if everything goes well and this thing grows, once we get past this COVID crap and we can all grow too, which, by the way, you guys have blown us away even more considering I know a lot of you are going through some tough times right now because of COVID-19. So we appreciate all of you out there for supporting us the way you do.
Field trips and road trips, sir.
Yes, plenty of them because that's what fans want, man. They want you to cover the team. Give them the kind of coverage that they deserve. That's what you guys want. That's what we want to give you on this show. So appreciate all of you for tuning in, downloading, watching, sharing, liking, everything that you do, going to our sponsors. Make sure you mention us, super chats, however it is. Once this COVID crap is over, we'll get our T-shirts up and hats and all that so we can have that, and that'll be another way you guys can support the show. So that'll give us the opportunity to do what you guys want us to do, is cover this thing wall to wall. By the way, I got to talk a little bit about The Last Dance last night. First of all, let me explain something about Dennis Rodman and The Last Dance. Okay, Dennis Rodman was a crazy man and is still a crazy man to this day. We all know that. But as a player, for those of you that are too young and you never got to see it, let me explain something to you. I've never seen a player like him before he got to the NBA. And since he left the NBA, I've never seen a player like him. Forget the tattoos, forget all the craziness, forget all the women he's banging and all that, because he's banging Carmen Electra, Madonna, and all that. And he was banging Madonna when she was actually kind of hot. All this stuff, okay? Dennis did a lot of crazy-ass stuff. But there's something about Dennis that's different than anything that goes on in today's world. Okay? And you saw it there in that special. The dude's asking you for 2 days off. He's not asking you because he needs load management. No, dude. No. Did you hear the story yesterday where Jordan says, well, we bring him back from Vegas and we figure, well, he's out of shape. He's been drinking the entire time. Let's jog really slow.
Running the train drill.
Yeah, really slow so Dennis can, stay with us. And what does Dennis do? He sprints past their ass. Why? Because I'm telling you this, and you can't find it in a highlight because you won't be able to notice it. You have to have lived it and watched it every single day. Dennis Rodman had the kind of energy I have never seen anybody ever have. The Greek Freak comes close, okay? And he's still not Dennis Rodman. I have never seen a more natural rebounder in the history of the game than Dennis Rodman because he was 6'8" and could anticipate wherever that ball was going. And I don't care if you were 7'1", you weren't out rebounding him. I've never seen a guy like that. I've never seen a guy that can literally defend all 5 positions. Oh, by the way, in a day when they actually had real centers that had a post game and all that you had to defend. They don't have that now. Okay? At 6'8", I've never, ever, 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 ever seen a freak like that guy. You have to separate the two. Forget the crazy man. Forget the drinking. Forget the drugs, if he was doing drugs or whatever he was doing. Okay? Forget all about that. This guy was special. And this guy deserved to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's the freak that guy was. And there was no load management or none of that BS. That guy was awesome, bro. Awesome. I've never seen anything like him. And so I love that they saw it because today's player is so load management and all this crap. And Michael Jordan used to play 82 games like it was going out of style every year. Go look at his stats. You'll see 82 and a couple of 81s all throughout his entire career. Like he says in the show yesterday, hell, the one that needs a vacation is me. And he doesn't because he's a maniac. How about Jordan going back to the Las Vegas hotel to get Rodman and Carmen Electra's in the bed and she's like under the sheets because she just doesn't want to be seen. Tell you, man, that is one dude that, to me, Rodman was just an absolute ball of energy. I've never seen anybody like that. He never got tired. He never looked tired.
The biggest, you can see it against anybody.
Anybody.
His ups, down and get up a second time. And if he had to,
relentless.
Nobody could get up and down again as quickly as him.
Or run the court.
He ran
like a deer.
He was a maniac.
Ran like a deer. He was wired differently. You know? It was just one of those things that, to me, it stood out. And then all that load management stuff that we see nowadays with that guy just wanted to go break for 48 hours, go party, and then he came back and didn't miss a beat, bro. I mean,
when Jordan said, running the train, and there goes Rodman, and it took us 4 times around the track
to catch up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I can remember that drill. That drill sucked.
Yeah. No, you're right. R-Rod is chiming in on the super chat. All right, R-Rod, thank you. He says, keep it going, Big O. I appreciate you, R-Rod, and all of you out there that are chiming in on the chat board, super chat, however you guys can support us. It is absolutely amazing. We will continue to do our best in bringing you all of the content that we possibly can. The other thing that I wanted to talk about with The Last Dance was the Pistons. And for me, nothing's changed over the years with the Pistons. Bill Laimbeer can talk about it and talk about, you don't really shake hands and all. Bull crap, dude. You shake hands. Okay? And especially when you were kicking their ass, they were classy enough, especially Jordan, dude. Jordan congratulated everybody as much as he hated it. And he did it out of pure respect. If you're the Pistons, you don't do that to Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Dr. J and Kobe and Shaq. And when you're facing another great player like that and you either won or lost, you be a pro, dude. And if that guy's a pro with you, you got to do it. You know what it reminded me a lot of? And this was years later, is why I can use the reference. Everybody knows Suge Knight, right? Suge Knight was one of those thug punk guys, you know. Yeah, he's a tough guy, but he was also a thug, right? And there's a picture of him knocked out on the sidewalk a couple years back. He got out of line with some guy that I think was a barber, and the barber knocked his ass out. Because no matter how bad any of us think we are, there's always somebody better. No matter how good you are, somebody better's coming, right? So Suge obviously always thought he was the baddest man in the world, and he knocked his ass out. And by the way, that wasn't enough. I wish he would have put him in a coma, actually, because I have no respect for that guy, Suge. Really. The fact that he's alive, it's a shame, because it's just, he shouldn't even be breathing the same air in our society. He's a total lowlife. But anyway, my point is that you look at the Pistons, and they were Suge Knight getting knocked out, and that's why they walked off that court, because they couldn't handle that the Bulls were superior by miles now. They no longer are the team that they beat up. They hit the weight room. They became tougher and stronger. They learned from their ass kickings. And then they grew up so much in that offseason, in that year. And those of us that lived it, we saw it coming. That year, you knew the Bulls were the better team. and you were dying to see that series. And when Chicago busted through and kicked their ass, those punks, the Pistons, they had no class. And by the way, Isaiah Thomas to this day still has no class. I will go with Jordan on this one every single day of the week and twice on Sundays. And one more thing. Isaiah, you didn't need that scene. Isaiah has always been a dirty player. Isaiah always took dirty shots on that team. Okay? He was great. Some of the greatest performances I've ever seen, from college to him in that one ankle for 41 points. I'm never going to take away anything that Isaiah Thomas achieved. But Isaiah, the person, Isaiah who lacks professionalism, that completely exists. As much as he was friendly with Magic, when Magic got the AIDS, he became a disgusting human being. Well, more of his disgustingness actually came out. And with Michael, he was a lowlife also. But that was typical of him. He took cheap shots throughout his career at times with other players in other moments, because I watched plenty of basketball over my lifetime, and I watched that entire era of basketball. And the Pistons were nothing more than a bunch of bullies who got their asses kicked, and they couldn't handle the truth. And they didn't have the professionalism to congratulate the team that beat them and say, hey, man, you know what? We kicked your ass for a couple years. You guys came back and got us. Props to you. I most of the time in the UFC, you have a lot of good sportsmanship, and those guys sometimes hate each other, beat the crap out of each other, but they're willing to, more often than not, congratulate each other after whatever it was, personal or whatever. I've seen a lot of that in the UFC, and I commend them for that. The Pistons, to this day, they deserve all the criticism they can get. They still don't come clean from it. You know, and the way they own it is embarrassing. Just to say. But, hey, whatever. You can tell by the way Jordan was responding. You can tell how he feels about Isaiah. You know, say what you want about Jordan, man, overall. But to me, that guy is – I admire everything about Michael Jordan. How can you not? And it was fun, man, to watch that yesterday. I'm going to watch it again today. I got to watch it again. I really do. The other thing I wanted to talk about outside of The Last Dance, because we talked about it here. Now, they got Tua, so that's fine. You can move on now. But I told you that if they didn't get a quarterback and they would go position player at 5, I wouldn't mind signing Jameis Winston. And I got to say, I got to commend the New Orleans Saints. I really do. Because they've got a great quarterback, a Hall of Famer that's got, 2 years left, right? I think he's got a 2-year contract, and he's probably done after that. And I know that they're talking about Taysom Hill. I don't buy Taysom Hill myself. As a gimmick guy and all that, I love him. How can you not like Taysom Hill and everything that he does? But the fact that Winston is in the process of agreeing to a 1-year contract with the Saints, I think is genius. Genius on the Saints' part, and even smarter on Jameis Winston's part. You know, the report is that the Steelers offered more money, and he chose the Saints. And again, smart move by Winston. Do you know why? The Steelers aren't known to develop quarterbacks. Big Ben was a baller either way. Rapist too, maybe, but a baller. And he can play. And it wasn't like they developed him. They haven't developed any other young guys. So Jameis Winston, and especially that guy's a jerk. I'm talking about Roethlisberger. Why would you want to do that? Drew Brees is accepting of Teddy Bridgewater, accepting of Taysom Hill. It wants to pass on the information. Sean Payton knows offense. Knows how to develop quarterbacks, all of that. Even Teddy Bridgewater played well under him. Taysom Hill has played well under him. If I'm Jameis Winston And I know he's also from that state. But if I'm Jameis Winston, obviously you go to Sean Payton in New Orleans over Pittsburgh. And for a guy that threw 30 interceptions and stood there on the podium with ignorance and told us all that he was balling, and we're like, huh? What do you mean balling, dude? You're not balling. You threw 30 interceptions. The 5,000 yards, yeah, that looks like balling, but the 30 INTs don't. And so for him to go to Peyton and Breeze, that tells me he realized, and it was a wake-up call. The league told him, screw you, dude. Sure, 30, no, I'm not signing that stupidity. It's basically what they said. Seriously. That's what they said. No, that guy's too stupid. I'm not signing him. 30 interceptions, I can't coach that. So he realized after free agency was done, nobody wants me. So now he had to wait till after the draft. And if teams like, okay, well, if we don't get a quarterback here or there, maybe we'll sign Jameis and we'll bring him in as a backup and a project, and we'll try. And that's exactly what New Orleans is doing, which they could end up with their quarterback of the future. And here's the other thing. When you look at Jameis, he was dealing with a quarterback that's a little bit more loosey-goosey than Bruce Arians. You know? And when you when you play for Sean Payton, Sean can joke around. You know, he's got a personality and all that. But there's a lot of hard ass in Sean, too. And maybe that's what Jameis Winston needs. Jameis Winston needs maybe somebody that's going to crack the whip a little bit. Jameis Winston also needs to sit in a meeting room and a practice field with a Hall of Famer and watch how he prepares every single day. And obviously the mental side of it, because Drew does an excellent job of not turning over the ball. And so that's what Jameis has to learn. And I think being with Sean Payton and Drew Brees is going to do him a lot of good. You know, we talked about it here. I wouldn't mind if Miami took a chance on him, and they didn't. And they got Tua, so I get it now. I know what their plan is. If you didn't get Tua, hey, why not consider it? But
it would have been a little overkill and really
no.
messed.
Now it would muddy the water completely, and
Thank you.
It would create all
Exactly.
kinds of controversy and all that. You don't need that crap right now. But I got to commend the Saints, and more than anybody, I commend Jameis Winston for realizing where he was at and saying, instead of taking maybe another team was offering, but it was a bad situation, and then he walks into a bad situation that doesn't help him, he gets to sit a year and maybe learn from one of the best ever and a coach that really knows how to develop quarterbacks. I like that for him, man. I really, really want to congratulate Jameis for showing a little maturity in that process, and not going, just take any job, I'll be fine. No, he wants to better himself, and he can wait another year until he has to do that by going to New Orleans. Awesome move, man. Awesome move. Let's see, what is Malb 214? What does that stand for? Malb 214, thank you. Says, good point, Big O. New Orleans will help Jameis. Big time. Thank you, Malb 214. Appreciate you, as always, on the super chat there. Let me see what else we got here on the chat board. Then Tua should play in week 1 is what DraftKings says. No, DraftKings, you can't play him in week 1, dude. Polo says, Winston is ass, Big O. You are nuts. Wow. Polo, you got ass and nuts all within like 7 letters. That's awesome, dude. That's fantastic. Let's see what else do we got to go on. EM Dolphin says, I agree. EM Dolphin says the structure will definitely help him. There's no doubt about that. Big D says, very strange that he didn't play on the Dream Team. Wasn't Daly's Dream Team coach? Well, I think Michael didn't want him on the Dream Team. Like, Michael blocked him from being on the Dream Team.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
It is just that simple.
Yeah. Listen, Isaiah, if you watched Isaiah's career, you know what I'm talking about. There are plenty of times in a Pistons uniform that he pulls some dirty crap on different people all throughout. So don't be surprised. And walking off the court.
You know what? He has this like a snake, you know? Like he's there, he's your friend, and then he stabs you in the back.
Yes. 1,000%.
That's him. That little smirk, smile, and calm talk, the way, and just.
Dude, he kissed Magic Johnson in every game.
Exactly.
Magic gets the AIDS, and he treats him like crap after that.
Right.
That's who Isaiah is.
Yep.
You know, but those of us that are old enough that we lived it, see, because this is stuff that you need an entire, like, documentary to explain to you all the crap that guy did. He's just not a good dude, man. Never was, in my book. Never was. I never liked him as a person. Immense respect as a player.
Well, look what they did to Adrian Dantley.
Yeah.
Look at what he did to Adrian Dantley. Ran him out of town to get his buddy McGuire.
Yep. And right before they won the 2 titles, dude, Adrian Dantley helped rebuild that
and
team
the Pistons
with all those guys.
The Pistons tried to send him a ring, and Adrian said,
"Yeah,
keep your rings, guys."
I felt bad for Adrian that time. Big O, and let me tell you, Aguirre wasn't the best guy either in Dallas. He wasn't such a good dude either. Big O, do you think MJ really blackballed Zell from the Dream Team? You mean Isaiah? Yes, I do. Man of 1,005 holds. After the game, when they got over the Pistons were done, Jordan was asked about them walking away. If you get swept and beat by us, you can do whatever you want. That's right. Yeah, because the most satisfaction is, let me tell you something. It might have been, while it was classless and it was the wrong thing to do and unprofessional and every adjective you can come up with, we can describe that. But if you've been getting beat up by that team the last couple of years, and then now you come back and kick their ass to the point that they stick their tail between their legs and run out of the building, that's even more satisfying. Because not only did you beat them, you made them cowards. Think about that.
It's hard for the bully to get bullied.
Right. And they got completely
You totally have
bullied.
stripped them naked.
Yes. You left them with nothing. Dougie Fresh says, what's real ass nuts is how ESPN kept going to commercials when we picked. Oh, yeah, dude, right? God, man. Winston is another QB that was thrown into the starting lineup on day one. He never learned anything he needed to know. You know, radically, you might be right. You might be right. But I really believe that if Peyton and Breeze don't have that influence and impact on him, this is the watershed moment of his career. If he doesn't figure it out after a trip through Peyton and Breeze, then that's it. It's done, and he is what he is. He's a sack of turnovers, and you can't trust him, as talented as he is. Okay? It's pretty amazing. Let's see. If you want to get in on the AxonLawFirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Let me go to the AxonLawFirm.com text line because we just did the text. But just in case, we got people here chiming in on the AxonLawFirm.com text line. Holy crap. You guys are awesome, man. How do you do the evaluation of rookies if there's no camp this year? Oh, man. The evaluation, well, there's got to be some kind of practice because you're not going to get to the games without practice, my friend. You can't just start the games. So training camp is going to have to go on. Preseason will have to go on. Maybe not a full preseason, but at least a game or two in preseason you're going to have because you got to get your team in shape. You got to get them to play. You got to run some plays. So there has to be an assessment period and a training period before we start the regular season, guaranteed. Big O, Tyson Render is the kid Belichick went to scout during the combine in the rain. Any thoughts on that? All I can tell you is that one of my guys likes him a lot. So and let me tell you, the Dolphins, okay, the Dolphins have earned this from me, just like the Miami Heat. All right? After last year, when I see you find Preston Williams off street free agency and you get me Nick Needham who looked absolutely terrible at the beginning, but then, I mean, he became a serviceable player, and you're like, okay, wait a minute, you just found depth at corner. This guy can play in the NFL. This guy could be your fourth or fifth corner, right? I'm not telling you Nick Needham's a start or anything like that, but I think he could be a really nice backup for you, right? So that happens, and I'm like, okay, that's, finding Hassan Whiteside. That's finding Breonte Weber. That's finding now Tyler. Tyler's a draft pick, but Duncan Robinson, things like that. That's getting Kendrick Nunn off somebody else's practice squad. That's where, when you're the Miami Heat,
turning something into nothing, man, and that is so hard.
I don't know about you guys, and again, our show, I want to be out at Summer League. Yeah, you don't mind going to Vegas, right, for Summer League, right? Vegas.
When are we going?
Okay. All right.
My bag has been sitting, waiting, ready, packed.
But I don't know about you guys, but again, I'm a hardcore sports fan, which a lot of you that are watching, that's why you're watching, because you're hardcore like I am. That's why we want to grow this show, have real sports, because there's no real sports shows on some of these other stations anyways. So I have become the guy every year now that I watch Summer League religiously, because I want to see who's the next guy that they're trying to develop that might become a rotational player, that might end up becoming a starter. Why? Because they know how to find people. Now, if you never find people, then I don't watch Summer League. And if you never find people, then I don't look at your street free agents that are undrafted that you signed. But yesterday, after I got the list, I went and sent some texts to some of the guys this morning, all that. And I said, all right, here you go. What do you know about some of these? Why? Because you did it last year to me now. You showed me that you can find people after the draft. So now that I know you can scout like the Heat, okay, now I got to pay attention to this. So in a way, the Miami Dolphins took a page from the Miami Heat in no toki. I say nothing. You hear nothing. They pulled a Schultz, right? And it worked. Smoke screens everywhere. The media just invented shit and ruined it all, right? And helped the Dolphins in the process, which was great.
I'd like to thank Marino for going over the edge and cluing O in.
And now
so he could clue us in.
Exactly. And now I'm watching the Dolphins take another page from the Miami Heat and say, no, wait a minute. It's not just about draft picks or trades. We can find players in other places. Street free agency, undrafted free agency, somebody else's practice squad. We're going to find players. If we find one in the CFL, we'll bring them in. I wouldn't be surprised if these cats find somebody in the CFL that can play in Miami in the next couple of years, like Mark Dixon, like Cam Wake. We've done it in the past, right? Why can't you do it again? So when I look at this list and I start going Kirk Merritt and Matt Cole and Bryce Stirk and Donnell Stanley and Nick Kaltmeyer and Benito Jones and Ray Lima and Tyshun Render, I'm not going, training camp fodder. No. That's changed. That has changed. Now I look at it and I go, let me look closer, because these guys know what the hell they're doing. So that's changed. How do you think the Auburn corner affects how Bobby McCain is used? That's a great question. Well, Bobby will stay at safety. Noah will probably be the nickel guy. And if they find a safety, I could see McCain becoming the dime. Actually, maybe nickel early and Noah dime, but eventually Noah becomes the dime because he's the bigger, faster player. So, yes, I could see that. Okay, now that everybody is calm after the draft, let's give a realistic, grounded grade. 1, a broken QB, a skinny weak. What is this, bro? Okay, so you're ripping everybody. Okay, all right. So you don't like it. Fine, that's right. I love the draft, bro. Jess in Minneapolis. You may not be able to say it, but I've heard the official messaging. But would you know the real deal on Caldwell? Was there a falling out in terms of team direction? Well, he had the personal issue, and then I think he tried to get a head coaching job, And then I don't know why they didn't bring him back. I have no idea. And then they went with Changeli. Maybe they were worried that there will be other issues down the line, and they chose Changeli over him at this point in time. That's it. That's all I can tell you.
Another thing, Caldwell deserves to be a head coach.
I know, but nobody hired him. So I'm wondering if his personal issues are something that people were worried about that would linger because nobody hired him as a head coach. Nobody hired him as an offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like he left Miami, at least I think, right? I don't think I know anywhere that he's at. Help me out. Did somebody hire him? I don't know, because I haven't seen anybody pick up Caldwell and name him as a coordinator or a head coach or anything, right? So if he's not doing that, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I do believe Miami draft is the right quarterback. Definitely two is definitely the best quarterback in the draft. Watch him play for Alabama. In the last couple of years, Joe Burrow, I have my doubts. A one-year wonder. It makes you wonder about him. I know it can. I know he can get hurt, but if we build a team around him, he will be there. That's what people think. Well, let's hope so. We gotta hope so. Joe Burrow, at best, is a Bubby Brister. Holy crap! Damn, bro, that's some cruel ass stuff, dude. Big O, what do you think or know about rookie free agent Benito Jones? I don't think I got anything on Benito yet. Let me see. Where are we at here? Here we go. Benito started maybe 2 years at Ole Miss. That's it. That's all I got from one guy. I haven't really gotten any kind of. No, I haven't gotten any. Tomorrow, if I should get more by the end of this evening, and hopefully I'll have a little bit more for you guys on some of these guys. On Benito.
You know, it's another.
I will try, Gio. Thank you, my man.
You know, it's another thing to think about Burrow. That offensive coordinator, man, and him getting in that system, that may be a major player with why Burrow flourished, besides the talent they had around him. But you saw how quickly that guy got a job in the NFL.
Right.
Snatched and grabbed.
Yes. Yeah, they took him
so
from
there's a lot of the 1 year, the talent, the offensive coordinator. There's a lot of things that's stacking up that don't benefit Burrow.
Yeah, I'm with you. Big O, I watched a quick interview with Tua over the weekend, and he said whatever the number the Dolphins give him, he'll wear it. Yeah, Tua's not about, I got to have this number or that number, and he's not going to be – he has so much respect for just society and life and all that. He understands the Dolphin history and Marino. He's not going to be one of those kids that is going to demand the number or beg them for it or anything like that. He just wants to play, man. He's a good dude, man. They hired a quality individual and a really talented quarterback. We just got to hope that the young man can stay healthy. That's all. Big O, I watched here we go. Brian in Miami says, Big O, amazing job covering the Fins. It's great to hear your optimism about the Fins. Had to stop listening to 560 and 790. They've become a joke. Can't listen to somebody talk for hours and not know nothing about sports. Keep grinding, bro, and do your thing. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. That's why we're here every day. Big O, do you think MJ blackballed Zeke? Yes, I do. Yes, I do, and I don't have a problem with that. I'm glad he blackballed him. One more. Isn't Bill a Bears fan? Why does he keep saying we? Oh, because he has 8 teams. He has 8 teams in the league. Bears, Dolphins, and then whoever's winning the Super Bowl.
Been a Dolphin fan. My dad had season tickets. I was at the game when Greasy got hurt in 72. My dad went to all the Super Bowls, the one at Rice Stadium. He talked about what a crappy deal that was. Rice Stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah. Old wood bleacher seats.
Well.
Not even our Orange Bowl fiberglass, you know?
Were the fiberglass in place in the old days, or was it wood also? You know? I don't know. I think...
You remember the yellow with the black lines?
No, it was
fiberglass.
They were fiberglass.
Yes,
they were fiberglass.
Fiberglass top, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rice Stadium.
We had box seats. My dad had box seats. And the box seats in the Orange Bowl sucked. because the players standing made it kind of because those box seats really weren't elevated enough.
I sat in the box for a Notre Dame game once and a soccer exhibition at the Orange Bowl. Those little boxes down there. That's it. My dad had 4 season tickets, 50-yard line, upper deck on the visitor side. And, I mean, it was like a routine. You got out the Eastern Airline white hankies because it was all white hankies back in the day.
The horrible hanky.
Yep. My dad had his flask of Crown Royal, 2 sets of binoculars. We parked at the same guy's house every weekend.
Pepe.
Actually, it was like a block away from, what was it, Flagler?
Uh-huh.
And we would walk to the middle of the block and go in between. There was a little catwalk that came out what is now the Walgreens.
Okay.
And we would come out right there, boom, and go straight and right to like the 50-yard line.
Nice. Nice.
I mean, it was like it was a routine. Every week, Dolphin game at the Orange Bowl, that was the routine.
By the way, just to tell you guys out there, thank you so much, because today we are expected this afternoon to pass our record downloads on audio. And so this will be the most downloaded month that we've had so far in our 8 months. So everything continues to head in an upward trajectory. So thank you so much out there for taking care of us the way you do and the way you guys support us every single day. It is time to wrap it up here on the show. 3 hours and 45 minutes of talk. I think we've done a little bit of talk here today. Appreciate all the folks out there as always. Thank you all for supporting the show. The super chat was amazing. Let me see. I hope I can thank everybody on the super chat here. Cookie Vice, Gus 1388, Leon Fresco, Drubo, George Arthur, DraftKings FanDuel, GPP, Julius 305, Ian from Brooklyn, Jose Banos, Dandy Photography, Sean Connolly, Nico Jones, Brennan Grogan, let's see, John Rouse, Kelvin Smith. Kelvin Smith, man. Damn, dude. That was incredibly strong, Kelvin. I was
Thank you, Calvin.
Wow. Kelvin.
Unbelievable.
Mark Bonaquisti, DJ Gallagher, Michael Mata, George, George, is it George? Let me see, George. Let me see your name here. I want to make sure because I didn't think I spelled it right. Albrice, I think it is, something like that. Where are you, George? Because you're usually chiming in quite a bit. Damn, where are you? Anyway, George, thank you so much. Because I know my chicken scratch. I'm trying to write and talk at the same time. And
that's pretty, but you can't even read your own writing.
I know. Well, because I'm talking and I'm doing it all at the same time. So sometimes I can't necessarily do it all clean. And not that I have the best penmanship out there as it is. You know what I'm saying?
No, you don't.
No, I don't. What's it called? George, Dougie Fresh, Dominic Veluso, R-Rod, Mal B, 2014, Polo just chimed in right now, and he just chimed in with a super chat. Says 8 favorite teams, huh? Yeah, I know. What can you do, bro? 8 favorite teams.
Stop. It's the Bears and the Dolphins in football, the Canes. That's it.
Yeah.
And they've been mine since I was a kid, man. 5 years old. I don't give up on my teams, my brother.
He's celebrating all the Patriot wins, Steelers wins.
Give me a break.
Cowboys.
Stop.
He had a cowboy hat on. Oh, no, Jimmy's a UM, so I'm rooting for the Cowboys.
Never. Not even when we had the Cowboy Cane connection. Never.
Polo, thank you, sir. I appreciate you chiming in with the super chat. There it is. George Albanese, right? Is that how it's pronounced? There you go. George put in 272 in the house. Let's show Big O some love. He's always on top of that. George, thank you, man. All of you are so supportive. Thank you as always. We will see you tomorrow. We'll be back on at 11 a.m. We do hit the road on Thursday. We'll be at Toyota of Hollywood on Thursday, like we always are.
Week. It's kind of a slow week.
Yes, and then Friday we're at at Craig's Inn, Acura, Pembroke Pines. So we'll be out at those 2 spots. So if you want to meet us, come on by and say hi. We still have to keep our distance, but we can still hang. And
you could
and
join
talk.
me and probably John Ross.
Right, exactly. Yes, exactly. John usually will come by, which is always good. Julius 305 goes, HML grad here. I'm a T-bred, baby. We are enemies. Just school. We are brothers in life. That's what it's all about. Anyway, I love all of you out there. Thank you for supporting us in so many ways. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Be good out there.
Thank you all. Please be safe.